Hello again, everyone. I'm back with another library video, but this time we're gonna do the PS4 library. Probably one of my most, I'll say one of my most valuable libraries because, I'm pretty sure like many of you watching, the PS4 was such an integral, integral console for me when it comes to forming my gaming tastes. Like I think PS3. I have very fond memories of the PS3. I love the PS3. I still play it to this day. But PS4, I think the PS4 really solidified me as a gamer. You know, as a kid, I had PS3 as a kid in like my early teens. And so it was really just, playing games just to play games. But PS4 really solidified my love for video games. I discovered so many amazing franchises through the PS4 generation. That's not even insane. And so I really hold the PS4 and like the PS4 games, especially the games I'm gonna show off today, in very high regard. It's probably easily my favorite console ever. I've only been around for like 25 years, but I've touched like multiple consoles here and there, but I think PS4 is easily my favorite console. I mean, there's a reason people still talk about the PS4. There's a reason the PS4 is still getting games and like the services updated in the big 2.5. Like this console's been out for more than 10 years and we're still getting games for it and everything. I know they're probably talking about stopping some of that soon, but the fact that we're still getting games for it is kind of crazy. And so that just shows the power. Like, even if you go on like social media, you'll see so many people talk about how the PS5, granted I love the PS5, but there's so many people who are like, the PS5 doesn't have any games, or the PS4 is better. Like, there's a reason, because the PS4 was just like, it was goated. It was goated. And so, just to get a little personal, I didn't really do this in the PS3 video, but I was going through like some photos and I found it. But yeah, going back, I was able, like, my parents were lucky enough to get this, most likely my dad, but my parents were lucky enough to get this for me on Christmas of 2014, and I was just super grateful for them. Like, I don't think they really understand how much that console that day really like impacted my gaming life, I guess. And so that's just my short little spiel. Like, pretty much just ever since 2014, just it's been up. And so that's the thing. So PS4, I will admit, so PS4, these are going to get a little weird just because of, again, they're still releasing games for PS4. So some of the games that I have in my collection are going to be like a cross-gen. And so even though I have it for PS4, there's a high chance that I'm probably playing the PS5 version. So there's not that many. It's really just gonna be games that came out pretty much 2020 and beyond. And so again, there's just not that many, because at a certain point it's just like get the PS5 version. But some of them, they were cheaper to get that way, and so I just kind of went that route. So that's just, that's one thing. And another thing as well, there's going to be probably a good amount of games in here, just like the PS3 video. There's going to be a good amount of games in here that I just haven't played. I've just heard like good things about it, so I ended up getting it. Probably most likely because it was on sale. It was cheap. That's why I have it. I just haven't gotten around to it. And so to prevent myself from saying that multiple times throughout the video, there's that. Also, the microphone smack dab in the center instead of the previous video had like off to like my right side, and so there would be some weird audio issues. Shouldn't be the case now. It's dead smack dab in the center of me, so there shouldn't be any issues with that. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the collection, my library. Also, another thing, I'm sorry, this is the last thing. This video is also going to be different. This video and possibly my PS5 video are going to be different because I have a good amount of digital games. I try my best to get physical whenever I can, but sometimes it's just a really good deal. Can't pass that up. And so this video is going to be a little split. So right now I'm just going to go over my physical PS4 library, and then later on in the video I'm going to go over my digital PS4 library. I'm going to try to keep things as concise as I can, so that way I'm not talking about my whole PS4 library for like 6 hours, because I really can. So we're just going to try and keep things short and sweet unless I get to a game that really impacted me. And so, first things first, let's get started with Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection. This I have played. So funny enough, the only Assassin's Creed out of this pack that I have not played is Assassin's Creed 2. I have played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Revelation. Revelations? Yeah, Revelations with an S. I just have never played Assassin's Creed 2. I want to say I was a bit too young for Assassin's Creed 2. Uh, Again, so my dad was really like the catalyst for the Assassin's Creed franchise for me. I remember we rented the first one back in 2000, I think 2007 when that came out. Got it from Blockbuster, and then I don't think he ever got Assassin's Creed 2. And so it's just one of those games I never really played until later on, and even when I did, I only played for a little bit. I think I talked about this in my PS3 video, because I'm pretty sure I still have the physical PS3 version. It's been like a month since I made that last video, a little over a month, so I just kind of edited that video not too long ago, so my memory is a little hazy on that, but I think I still have the physical Assassin's Creed 2 copy. And so if anything, I don't have trophies on that, but I probably would just play the Ezio collection, because it's you know, the better version. Something I've noticed that I really wish I had my Vita still. Vita remote play, bro. Before, like, handheld consoles and everything became the thing, PS Portal, PS Vita, bro, just remote play that thing. That's it. So yeah, I miss the Vita, bro. I'm really trying to get one. I'm trying to get one pretty soon. So yeah, that's the focus, the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection. All right, and then continuing with the Assassin's Creeds, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. For me, this is probably the best Assassin's Creed on the PS4. I don't really think it'd be a hot take to say that. I just know, like, the early Assassin's Creed games, those were, I don't want to say, like, I don't know, it's just they weren't as, I think it prompted Ubisoft to just, you know, be like, we need to take a break from the annualized Assassin's Creed, because it's really like, Unity was like a trash fire at the time. I'm pretty sure it's gotten way better now, because a lot of people talk about that one very fondly. And then Syndicate, you know, better than Unity at the time, but I think just because the way Unity panned out, people were just not really drawn to Assassin's Creed at that point, even though I think it was probably a better game at the time. But yeah, popped in them to take a break, and then we get to Origins, which is the next game we want to talk about. But Odyssey is probably my favorite out of the PS4, Xbox One Assassin's Creed games. I synced so many hours into this, it's not even funny. I remember I got this, it came out in 2017. I'm pretty sure I got it in 2018 when it was on like a Black Friday sale or something. And then I didn't get around, I played for like maybe like a few hours, but I didn't get into it heavy until my freshman year of college, because I mean, I had so much free time. And so I just remember sinking pretty much any time I had into this. I remember this is when I kind of was really getting into gaming podcasts. I would put that on when I was grinding some of the things. I don't really remember what there was to grind. I know this is a huge game. I do know that. I don't have, like, just getting out of the way, I don't have any of the Assassin's Creed's platinums. This one though, I was pretty close. I do think I'm like, in the base game, I'm like 70% or something with the trophy, 77%. And so definitely a game I would like to clean up at some point. I mean, yeah, Odyssey, there's not a lot of, there's just so many good things I can say about Odyssey. I guess one thing I can say, I play as Cassandra. I know this isn't the first one to have like a dual protagonist kind of thing, but this is the first one, like, you can choose, like, if you want to play as a female, or I shouldn't say that word in 2045, if you want to play as a man or a woman. And so I went with Cassandra, because if you know me by now, based on like the videos I put on the channel, I prefer to play as the female option. I don't really know why. I think because I play so many games as a man, it's kind of refreshing sometimes to play a game as a woman. And so that's why I went with Cassandra. I remember at the time, my friend was also playing it, and he played as Alexios. And he was like, it's so like weird, like the perspective change. Because in my story, Cassandra is the bad guy, and like in my story, Alexios is the bad guy. And so it's just really clever if you're playing with buddies and like you know, go different ways. This is one of the few games from, I guess, the PS4 era that I do have the season pass for. I did play a little bit, but I definitely, you know, whenever I go back to revisit this and clean it up, you know, go back through and play the DLC with that as well. So that's Odyssey. And then moving from Odyssey, like I just mentioned, we have Assassin's Creed Origins, which is really the one that kickstarted the whole thing. Well, it's not kickstarted, but well, kickstarted the new phase of Assassin's Creed games, I should say. Because yeah, like I said before, you know, it was kind of getting formulaic at a certain point. Just, you know, people weren't really jazzed about Assassin's Creed anymore, and so this one really changed things up. And I don't mind the whole, like, the new change up that they did. I think just because of, like, because we've only gotten like a handful of Assassin's Creed games since this one came out in 2017. Oh, I'm messed up then. Odyssey came out in 2018. I was looking at a different date. So yeah, Odyssey came out in 2018. Origins was 2017. And yeah, this one, okay, I'm just trying to make sure I got my math right. This one came out in 2017. And yeah, just kind of breathed new life into the Assassin's Creed mythos, I guess. Changed up the whole gameplay formula, switched over more to like an RPG kind of thing. And I don't know, I'm trying to think. I remember, so this is another one, there's a trend with like a lot of these games I usually get during like a sale or something, or during Christmas, and I just don't get around to it till later. That's the case with Origins. I got this one in Christmas. I'm pretty sure the year it came out, I got it in Christmas, and I played for like maybe a few hours, but I didn't get into it heavy until that summer, because this was my junior year of high school when I got this. And yeah, junior year of high school was no joke. I hardly played any games during my junior year of high school, and so this one just this is one of those games I played during the summer, synced so many hours into it, and I mean, I enjoy this one. I really do. I enjoyed this one a fair bit. Exploring Egypt is fun. I have so many photos in photo mode. I know one of them's like just me climbing the pyramid, so that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Origins, definitely a good turnaround for the Assassin's Creed franchise. And I know a lot of people get tired of the whole like RPG-ification of Assassin's Creed now, but at the time, I think this is definitely what the franchise needed to like rejuvenate it and breathe a new life into it, like I just said. Continuing down the Assassin's Creed, we have Syndicate. I do not have too much experience with this one because I wasn't like I wasn't a person, because I just wasn't really like into the whole internet discourse at the time. A person who was like, oh, Syndicate, like, no, I'm not getting Syndicate because how they did Unity. It was just one of those games I got for Christmas, and it was Christmas of 2016. I just did not play too much of it, I'm gonna be honest. So I don't really have too much to say about it. I know this is one of the first Assassin's Creeds where you could play as, because you're playing as like, I think it's the Evie siblings, I don't remember. Again, it's just been so long. But, you know, you play as the brother or the sister. You can switch at whatever time. It's not like it really depends, or you have a permanent decision there. Just switch at, you know, any point in time. You're in London, of course, which I think is a really cool setting. I think, if I'm correct, I think this is the most, how do I phrase this? If in like the timeline, this is like the one that takes probably this one takes place closest to like our time, I guess. I don't really know the best way to phrase it. I think though, again, I have not kept up with Assassin's Creed lore in so long, so I could be wrong, but I do think this was like the latest one. But so the reason this is one of those Assassin's Creed games I did trade in along with Unity, because I did get Unity when it came out. But yeah, this was one I traded in because I just wasn't playing it that much, and so I got it again because I wanted to. So when I first got back into like platinum games and all that, I wanted to platinum all the Assassin's Creed games, so I bought this one again. I know for a while this was not running the best on PS5, but I do think they did an update not too long ago that, you know, you can play at 60 frames per second now. There's not really that many issues, and so yeah, this is one of the games that at some point in time I would like, again, if I would like to do all the Assassin's Creed games, and this is just one of them that I bought again. And so yeah, I don't have too much to say about this one. Along with Unity, I don't have too much to say about this either. Who is this? All in One. I got this one off eBay. I remember, yeah, because again, when the idea popped into my head to platinum all the Assassin's Creed games, I got this one on eBay because I didn't want to do digital. Funny enough, so I do remember I got this on Christmas of 2014. So I do remember playing it a little bit then. And then I also got it probably sometime in like 2019. I don't remember exactly the whole timeline there, but I traded this in when I got my PC. That's another integral thing to the whole PS4 generation. I got a PC in like 2020, so a good amount of the games I had, I traded in because I'm like, I'm just gonna get on PC, but I got again when I was really getting into the trophy hunting thing. And so this is one of those games. This is the third time I've gotten Assassin's Creed Unity, and I played a little bit, definitely like improved since 2014. You know, I mean, probably the bugs, all the bugs are gone. I don't remember how like the frame rate held up on the PS5, because I don't think I played on PS5 since I got this, but I don't know, maybe a little bit. But I mean, it's set in France. Parkour, I do remember the parkour, and this one was pretty good. And I also remember like the whole big thing when the Notre Dame burned down, how they were able to use the model from this game to how like rebuild it, which I thought was really cool, like a really cool thing. Shows the good thing about video games, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, again, not too much to say about this one. I don't want to like stretch it out longer than I need to. It's just, you know, I haven't played too much of it, but one of these days, I'm trying not to say that as much. Whenever I do the Assassin's Creed, the whole thing, this is gonna be in there. And then the last Assassin's Creed that I have for the PS4, technically not, is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But yeah, as you can see, well, probably a few of these games, you're gonna see that PS5 upgrade available. That's the main reason I got the PS4 version. And so the reason I got this one was because I remember I was at GameStop. This is probably a couple years ago. They had that 4 for $40 sale. So if you got 4 games that were $20 and under, you get it all for $40. This is one of those games that I had in there. And so that's the reason I got the PS4 version, but there's the PS5 upgrade, which is definitely what I'm gonna do, because I'm pretty sure it is free if you do the upgrade. And so I, again, don't have too much to say about this one. I remember this is, again, when I got my PS5, or not my PS5, my PC, and I had Ubisoft Plus. I think that's the service that they have, Ubisoft Plus, and I played it that way. I played for maybe a few hours. I played as the female version of, I think the name's Eivor, and that's, whenever I do play it again, that's probably just what I'm gonna stick with. You all should know me by now. And so, yeah, the Valhalla, I don't have too much to say about this one, because modern Assassin's Creed games from this onward, I just haven't barely played. Like, I played a little bit of this. I played like an hour of Mirage that came out a few years ago, and then a few hours of Shadows, which I got this year, day one. I just have, I don't know, man. Modern Assassin's Creed, they're just huge. They're huge games. I know Mirage isn't, but still, I just haven't really found the motivation to really jump into them. And this one, in the trophy hunting community, so many people talk about this one, how tedious the platinum is for this. So that's gonna be an interesting one to tackle one day. But that's Valhalla, and that's all the Assassin's Creed games that I have for the PS4. So we can move on from that to another interesting game from, you know, the last 5 years or so, Marvel's Avengers. So this might be a hot take. I don't mind this game at all. So this is actually, now that I mentioned it, this is another game that's cross-gen. So you can, I don't think it says it out around the box, but this is another one that you know, I bought on PS4, but when I eventually got my PS5, I remember where they were doing the whole Black Panther thing. I upgraded to the PS5 version and just caught up on some previous events. And so this one does have a PS5 version, or like a PS5 upgrade as well if you have the PS4 version. But this one I got on PS4. I originally did get this on PC, but I remember, so this is going back to like 2020. I remember I built my PC in May, and I'm like, this is going to be my main thing now. I'm not getting a PS5 at all. But then some FOMO got to me, and it got me thinking, I'm like, I don't know if I want to play games on my PC as much anymore. And so I remember I bought this on PC because it was on sale, a really good sale, but I didn't play too much of it on PC. Like, I played maybe like 30 minutes, got a refund, got the PS4 version, because I felt like it was more natural to play on the PS4. That's just how my brain works. And so this one, so the thing with Avengers, right? I wasn't really into the whole like end game and whatnot for Avengers. All I played was the story, and I really enjoyed the story. I really did. I thought it was actually like a really good story with the main group you see here. Mostly centered around Kamala Khan, if I might be, yeah, Kamala Khan, and then of course you gradually unlock all the other Avengers. But yeah, I mean, the story in this was actually really good. Slight spoilers if you never played it and don't want to. I don't even. So that's the interesting thing too. I don't even know if you can still play this. I feel like you can. I just know they stopped like updating the game a while ago. So I'd imagine you can still play it. It's just, you know, internet required. If it'll focus. Internet required. And so I don't know what that really entails. I don't know if you can, again, I just don't know if you can still play this. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know. I haven't played it since that Black Panther thing they were doing a few years back. I think it was like 2021 or something, 2022 maybe. And yeah, I just, if it's still on, if you can still play this online, I might consider going for the platinum, because I do have like a decent chunk of trophies in this. Again, just because I played so, I shouldn't say so much. I just played the majority of the campaign. I played all the campaign actually. I don't know why I said majority. Play all the campaign. I was looking into spoilers, but I'm not gonna worry about it. And so yeah, I just really enjoyed this at the time. And yeah, it's kind of a shame just what happened to it, you know? I think just going the whole live service route really just hindered the whole thing. Again, I always look, I feel like there are more games that do this, but I always look at Astrobot and the way that they handled the recent Astrobot that came out last year. I always just look at how they handled the whole like DLC, how they kept just dropping it occasionally, even though like you already paid full price for the game and you're just getting content gradually to expand more on that. I don't know how feasible that is nowadays, but I think if they just didn't go the whole live service route, just made it like a single player looter shooter type thing, and just gradually, and like, I don't know, maybe just include the stuff as DLC, it might have panned out better. I just think the whole like live service end game grind thing just held the game back. And I know there's a lot of people that really enjoy that. I'm not dissing that at all, or like, you know, diminishing that. It's just, it's not really for me. The whole live service end game stuff, it just really depends. Like the only time I've ever really gotten into that was for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and that was really just like for trophies and stuff. I wasn't heavy into platinums at the time, which is why I just never really sought out to do much with this. But for the time, I did enjoy what I played. I enjoyed the campaign, I enjoyed playing as the different characters, and I had a fun time with that. Now, will I go back and do the end game stuff? Maybe. I don't know. It just kind of depends. But yeah, that's Avengers. Again, the hype didn't really get to me either. I do remember the E3, I think it was E3 2018, or it might have been, no, it was E3 2019 when they first unveiled the game. And, you know, you see the stacked cast, you see the gameplay, and then you just figure out more about it. It's just like, it's not really for me. It was crazy too, is like this released at like the hype of the MCU, bro. Like, even though like Endgame had already came out and everything, I feel like the high for Marvel content was still really good, you know? But still, just, you know, it landed with a dud, and because of that, it affected other Marvel games that Square Enix made, which is what I'll get into when I make my PS5 video. Most of you probably know what game I'm talking about. But yeah, it just kind of sucks that this was the fate of the Avengers. And there was, last thing, the whole Spider-Man thing is another interesting point, bro. Like, the fact that Spider-Man is a console exclusive, it's just kind of wild. And I think, I remember watching reviews at the time, because this is way after Spider-Man 2018 came out. I think it's like the worst version of Spider-Man you can play. I just don't really I don't feel like it fits the Avengers mold, like the way you play the game, but hey man, that's that. Moving out of the A's, we're done with A's, moving on to B's, not too many here. Start off with an interesting one. I don't know how many people know about this, but we have the Banner Saga. I don't know too much about this myself. I've seen it in multiple like YouTube videos. I used to watch Mojo a lot when I got the PS4. So that's definitely, that channel at the time, because I mostly watched their gaming stuff, definitely informed me on the games that There's like some of the better games for the PS4, also PS3, but mostly PS4. This is one of those games. I think Banner Saga 2 came out in 2014. And I remember they were saying that's one of the best games to come out that year. And so ever since then, it's been on my radar. And I got the whole trilogy because it was fairly cheap. There are 3 games. I believe it's just like a turn-based Viking game for the most part. As you can tell by the box art, and like, let me see if I can get a focus on the back of the box. It's all like animated, 2D, hand-drawn, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, I don't really know how this would do as like a platinum video or something like that. I feel like this would do better more as like a retrospective or something, but I don't really know. I'm just opening it up. I did open it at the time, but you know, this is one thing I'm not gonna do a lot for the PS4 because they just kind of stopped doing that. But like manuals and whatnot, that's really a thing of the past now, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. But this one does come with like an art book, which is kind of neat. It definitely makes sense given like how beautiful the game is. Like, let's see. I mean, it's kind of default, but you know, first pick. Like, there's really nice hand-drawn animation they got going on here. And then this is like a little poster with all the characters. I'm definitely not gonna unfold it because I don't want to put it back together, but there's that. And then I also got a bonus disc, which is the soundtrack, which is neat. You don't really see that a lot these days. I wonder, is this just like a CD, bro? I think it's just a CD. Yeah. Just a CD, bro. What did Gen Alpha know about these? Let me chill. Let me not sound like an old person right now. But no, this is the funny thing too. Like, my PlayStation is like the only way I can play this. I don't have a CD player. My old car had a CD player. My new one doesn't though. And so, if I didn't have, like, my PS5 is like the only way I could even listen to the soundtrack. Because again, no CD player. And so that's just the fun. I have another game like that I'll get to later. But yeah, so Banner Saga, I definitely do want to check this out at some point in time. Because again, I've just heard so many good things about it. And that's that. This next one is 2 games lumped into one. I remember I asked you guys if you wanted to see me play it. But we have, well, both of them actually, but Bayonetta and Vanquish. Something you notice, I still have the shrink wrap on. I just never touched it since I got it. I think I got this one. I either got this one on eBay or I got it on Amazon. This goes on sale quite a bit, especially like on the digital side. But I do like I always want to opt in for physical whenever I can. And yeah, Bayonetta and Vanquish. So Vanquish, I don't know anything about. I know it's actually a really hard platinum. I think it's like a 9 out of 10, but it's a pretty short game. So, because I did look into it at one point, but Bayonetta is the one I have the most experience with. This is one of those games my dad got on his 360. It's probably a game I should not have been playing at the time. I played like a little bit of it. It's not super graphic, but I think I can't remember exactly when I came out. I know I was definitely like either 10 or 11 or something. Probably should not have been seeing that stuff at that age. You know, the way Bayonetta uses her hair and like, you know, all the suggestive poses, like even like the box art. Look at the box art. Some of the suggestive poses she gets in, probably too much for my 10-year-old brain to handle. But I did play a little bit of it. And then I got it on my Switch because, as I think hopefully many of you know, Nintendo, I think they own the IP. I don't really know how that works, but I mean, I'm assuming they do just because it's exclusive to the Nintendo consoles now. And so I remember, this is when I got my Switch. This is a few years ago. They had Bayonetta 2, and like you can only get Bayonetta 1 in like a digital version of it. Luckily, because it was pre-owned, luckily I guess the person either didn't use it or I was still able to use the code, but I was able to get Bayonetta 1 on there. I played for a little bit. This was before I really got into like action games and stuff. Character action games, so I didn't really like, you know, I was kind of goofing around in it. But I definitely think if I play it now, I'm taking this shit serious, man. I'm taking it serious. I'm gonna learn all these combos and stuff. So yeah, that's Bayonetta. That's really the one I wanted to focus on. Again, I don't have too much knowledge about Vanquish, but yeah, Bayonetta I know much about. I really do want to play Bayonetta, like I really do. I definitely would go for like the platinum in this one, and then since the other ones are like Nintendo exclusives, I would probably just do like a whole trilogy, like retrospective or something like that, something, you know, along those lines. But Bayonetta, definitely want to get to that game pretty soon, because there's a lot to unpack here. And next up, we have the return of that pre-owned GameStop sleeve, but we have BioShock the Collection. Let's see, I'll tell you the, dang, it's in this. Let me take these out, because we have 2 CDs in here. Dang, this one's pretty dirty. I have not looked at this since I got it. Look how, I don't know if you can really see that. You could definitely see it more on the original CD. Or maybe not. You just see the cyberpunk background. Let me turn that off. Look how dirty that CD is, bro. That's actually like insane work. But yeah, so we have two CDs. On the first one, you have BioShock and BioShock 2. And on the second one, you have BioShock Infinite. You got 3 games in one. Well, 2, technically. And so, my history of BioShock is kind of limited, I guess. So, this is another one of those games my dad got on his Xbox. And I played very little of the original BioShock on the 360. And then I think maybe one Christmas I got BioShock 2. Barely played that. My dad got Infinite. I played more of Infinite, but I didn't finish it at the time, because I think this was the same year as the Xbox One and PS4 was coming out. And so I think I might have messed up in the beginning. So yeah, PS3 or PS4, Xbox One was 2013, not 2014. I think I messed that up in the beginning. So yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad traded it in at some point to get the Xbox One, and I just never finished it. So it wasn't until, let's see, I don't remember when the collection, when that dropped, but I do remember getting this for my 16th birthday, because it was, you know, more pre-owned game sales. I got this along with Dying Light, which I'll get into later. And so BioShock, I didn't get around to playing BioShock until I want to say maybe 2017. And I think that really, like, I was able to, because a lot of people look at BioShock as one of the best games ever, one of the best immersive sims out there. And so I do, like, once I was able to play, I'm like, yo, I finally get the hype. I understand why this game is so great. I understand why people love it so much. And then BioShock 2, I don't remember BioShock 2 as much. I know a lot of, like, critics and stuff weren't the biggest fan of it. I know there was, like, some multiplayer in BioShock 2 at the time. This one doesn't have the multiplayer at all, so I didn't, you know, can't experience that. But BioShock 2, I don't remember too much about it. I just remember you play as the Big Daddy this time around. And so I would definitely love to revisit it just to like see how well it holds up, I guess. Because again, a lot of people, I mean, there are some fans of BioShock 2. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it at the time, just not as much as the first BioShock. I know the DLC for BioShock 2 is really good. I never played it though. I didn't play any of the DLCs for this at all, actually, which I really should, because I mean, it's available on the disc. And then Infinite, I remember playing Infinite, so I played all 3 of them roughly back to back. And so yeah, Infinite, I do remember, I enjoy Infinite. I enjoyed the gameplay. I know a lot of people criticize like the story and stuff. I definitely would have to revisit it to understand the context. I just think a lot of people say it's like, I don't know the right word, just not as artsy. Like, it's just very, like, I think the messages they're trying to convey is very on the surface compared to, I guess, what the developers had in mind. And so I definitely want to revisit that first from the story standpoint. I remember the gameplay. I enjoyed the gameplay a lot. I especially enjoy like Elizabeth, having her as the companion in this. And so maybe it's time, maybe we're due for a BioShock replay. How about that? Get the platinums for it, look at the stories, you know, talk about them in depth. Who knows, man? Who knows? Moving on, we have a string of Borderlands games, starting with Borderlands Game of the Year Edition. I have not played the first Borderlands enough as I would like. Oh, this one has a manual, and, well, technically not. I don't know what's in this. Yeah, just, that's the state of PS4 manuals, dude. It's literally just a bunch of, like, bullshit no one wants to read. I didn't read all that. Like, come on, bro. I don't give a shit about any of this. You gotta download the manual online. Come on, bro. Just include it in the box, bro. How lazy are y'all? But then you get a map, which is pretty cool. A cool trade-off, I guess. You get a map, so at least there's that. But yeah, Borderlands. So I don't have too much to say about the original Borderlands. I played the PS3 version a little bit. I'm pretty sure I rented that from Blockbuster. I don't remember who I played as the first time around. I really don't. But yeah, Borderlands, definitely want to revisit. Well, I guess play it, because I know how it ends, unfortunately. But I know, this is the one that really started it all. And it would just be kind of nice to, go back and experience its roots and just see what made Borderlands a big deal. At this point, I have all the Borderlands games. I have this one. Well, I'm going to get into them, but I have all the Borderlands games. So, we could always just do like a Borderlands series on that. There'll be a few videos, but, it'd be kind of nice to just, see how the series progresses. See how things go. See, that's Borderlands. And then we move on to Borderlands, the Handsome Collection, which I played. This is probably the most extensive I've played Borderlands, because this one comes with Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel. And it comes with all the DLC, which is a nice complete package. And so Borderlands 2. So this one, I remember Borderlands 2 I got as a birthday present in 2012. And so I did play a good chunk of Borderlands 2, but I just never finished it. I didn't finish it until I got the Handsome Collection, and I really, really enjoyed Borderlands 2. I think there's a reason a lot of people hold that up in very high regard. The thing with Borderlands, like I mentioned with the Avengers, I'm not super heavy on the end game. I know the end game is like the big thing with the Borderlands games. I've never just really, end game is just not for me. Like at the time, whenever I finished a game, I was finished. I didn't really continue playing much afterwards, because again, platinum stuff that didn't really come till later on, when I was way older. And so once I finished Borderlands 2, I just finished Borderlands 2. It wasn't until I watched retrospectives on the game and stuff where I saw how big of a deal the end game was. And so whenever I do go back to play the Borderlands games, I definitely have to spend a lot of time in the end game, because that's just really the big thing. Pre-sequel was a pretty good one too. I think I played, let's see, going back to Borderlands 2, I played as Lilith when I played the second time. I played the first time, so I just remember this. So going back, I did get it for the PS3 when I was 12, and then I got it again on the Vita. I don't remember when, but I did play on the Vita. And so those two times I played as Zero. But the third time when I played on the PS4 version, I played as Lilith. And then for the pre-sequel, I think her name was Athena. She's the woman with the sword. I remember playing as her. If I ever do play again, I do think I'm gonna play as Claptrap, because I mean, come on, who wouldn't? It's Claptrap. You gotta do it. And so yeah, Borderlands, that's the Handsome Collection. Really enjoyed my time with it, and definitely got to give it another go at some point in the future. And then moving on to the final, well, not the final one, but I guess the final mainline one is Borderlands 3. Again, we got that pre-owned sleeve, but I did get this one on day one back in 2019. And I enjoyed it for what it was at the time. I know a lot of people don't hold Borderlands 3 in high regards nowadays. I think just because the story and the writing and the jokes were a bit juvenile. I enjoyed it, the game at the time. This one, I played as the robot. I don't remember his name, but there was a robot that I played, because I tend to play these games single player. So I usually try to look for the best single player character, all around character. And so yeah, that's who I played. There was a robot, and I remember the trailers for this. I enjoyed the trailers. There's one that I really liked that has Express Yourself. I watch that every now and then, even now. And so I really I was definitely excited for this at the time. I finished it again, didn't do the end game, but I enjoyed my time with Borderlands. I had a really good time with it. Borderlands 3. And so yeah, at some point, whenever I ever do revisit the franchise, go back through it, it would be nice to experience this one, or I guess re-experience this one, and just see if it holds up now. And then last up with the B's, we have Burnout Paradise. This is one of those games my dad got back in, it's 2007, 2000. I'm pretty sure it was 2008, because I remember this one had advertisements for Obama. There was Obama billboards just telling you to vote, which I thought was a really cool way to, I guess, market that spread his campaign to like gamers and stuff. I don't really know. But the thing that I do remember about Burnout were the insane crashes. I think that's just what Burnout is known for. This is my only the only Burnout game I played. I know there's like, it goes way back to I think maybe the PS2. I do remember. No, I think that was Flat Out. I was gonna say that. I remember there was a demo I played on my PSP, but I think that was Flat Out. But yeah, Burnout Paradise. I got this one again when they remastered it. I had to get it again because I remember playing this game a lot when I was younger. Really enjoyed the driving, really enjoyed the crashing, and I would really love to go back and give this another go. I know there's some multiplayer trophies in this. I'm pretty sure you can still get them. I don't know who all is playing Burnout Paradise in 2025 though, because the remaster came out, I do not know. I want to say 2018 based on what's on the back of this box. So, and I think the original came out in like 2007, 2008, give or take. And let's see, I'm gonna say 2018 because that's what it says on the disc as well. So yeah, 7 years later, I don't know who's really playing this anymore. So if I ever want to go and get the multiplayer, I probably gotta boost it or something. And so yeah, that's Burnout Paradise. Really, really enjoy this game. All right, moving into the C's, we have quite a few Call of Duty games. Starting with Advanced Warfare. This was really the first PS4, Xbox One Call of Duty game. I know this one's also on PS3. I don't know if this one works. I want to say it does. I think this one. So again, I didn't get this on PS4. A lot of the, well, I shouldn't say a lot because I only have 4. Actually, no. I would say in the PS4 era, I did get quite a few Call of Duty games on my PlayStation 4. The Call of Duty was always like my dad's thing. If he got on his Xbox, I usually played it there. But I do remember, like this one I did play on his Xbox. I only played the campaign. So the thing with Call of Duty, I guess really early Call of Duty games, more so than later ones, I wasn't into like multiplayer as much. I was really just playing for the campaign. I remember I didn't like the campaign as much in the beginning for this one. I did eventually finish it, but I wasn't like the biggest fan of it. I know Troy Baker does do a killer performance. You also have Kevin Spacey on the back. He was the main villain in this one, which, you know, kind of weird talking about Kevin Spacey in 2025. So let's just not really spend too much time there. But yeah, this was really the first, not really the first, but one of like I think the big pushes towards like futuristic Call of Duty games. I think the first one really started with Black Ops 2, but it wasn't really as in-depth as this one. Like this one, you have exosuits, you can double jump, you can do all that jazz. And so, yeah, so the reason I got this on my PS4, this is also when I started doing the whole platinum things in the beginning, and this was another series I considered getting all the platinums for, well, where I could. And this one, this one doesn't have that many multiplayer trophies, if any at all. I want to say this maybe like a handful, and if there is, it's for that co-op exo survival game. And so, yeah, this one, so this was like the second copy I got on eBay, because I remember the first copy I got didn't work. I want to say the disc was messed up, but this one does work. I'm pretty sure I tested to make sure it worked, and it does. And so Advanced Warfare were good. Campaign I remember was being okay. Might be better now, like playing it again. But yeah, that's really just my 2 cents on that. And then we have what I think, let me take out this receipt because it's just like kind of in the way. Got this one in 2022. Because again, that's when I was getting, actually no, I don't think it was. Not quite. But yeah, Infinite Warfare. I would say like the beginning of the end for Call of Duty, because this might have changed, I don't really know, but this, at the time, Infinite Warfare was the most downvoted Call of Duty trailer in history. I think this one just really went super deep into the whole futuristic angle, and just not a lot of people like that. This was the same year Battlefield 1 came out, which I think a lot of people really like got instead. Funny how history repeats itself in 2025. A lot of people I think don't like Black Ops 7, but they're enjoying Black Ops or Battlefield 6. So it's very interesting to seeing how that's like how we're doing that again, pretty much. I A lot of people say that the campaign in Infinite Warfare is really good. I've only played maybe like a couple missions in the campaign, not too much. I tried to play multiplayer for this, and there is one multiplayer trophy for Infinite, but it's bugged. I tried playing this. This was back in, I think, 2023 when I tried to do this, but it is bugged. I don't know. That's really the one thing holding me, because the thing I was trying to do for a minute was try to get all the multiplayer trophies in the Call of Duty games, because I feel like those are going to be the harder ones to do, especially as time moves on, unless people are playing those Call of Duty games. And so I tried to do the trophy for, I think you have to win like 5 multiplayer matches. I did that, didn't work. And so I played more, still hasn't popped. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Then just another thing to throw in, this one has the Modern Warfare remaster. I don't remember exactly the whole story with that. I guess that was just something they threw in, but you eventually could get it on its own. That's how I have that's how I have that. I think either I bought it or it was available for free through PlayStation Plus. So that's how I have that. But yeah, Infinite Warfare, not a lot at the time. The outcry for this one was loud, but I don't know how a lot of people feel about it now. I feel like a lot of people kind of just like, they accept it as another Call of Duty game at this point. And yeah, I do think, I don't know, I'm a sci-fi guy, so I don't mind the whole like futuristic angle that they were doing, but I can definitely see how it was a big departure from what Call of Duty was known for at the time. A lot of like the Modern Warfare stuff, World War stuff. So I just think the future, I mean, maybe a hot take, I feel like future was just like natural progression, I guess, but maybe this one's just straight too far, because I mean, you do have like spaceships and you're doing battles in space and all that, so maybe that was like a bridge too far for some people. But I don't know, I definitely would like to, I feel this would be one of the more interesting Call of Duties to visit whenever I do like a whole Call of Duty like series. So there's Infinite Warfare, and then going to a more well-regarded one, we have Modern Warfare, which dropped in 2019. I played a decent chunk of this. My dad really got into this, especially the campaign. I think I was more into the multiplayer at the time, because that's what my friends were all playing. This is, again, that's the main reason I got this was because my friends had it and they were like, you should get it, so I got it. And so we mostly just played multiplayer. I didn't play too much of the campaign in this one. And then of course, everything changed when Warzone came out. And so yeah, I just never finished the campaign for this one. And I would actually like to, because I heard it's a good campaign. And so yeah, multiplayer was, this is probably the only Call of Duty game where I got into the multiplayer heavy, and that's just because my friends were all playing it. So that's that. And then last up on the Call of Duty minds is World War II. This is when I got Christmas that it came out, which was 2017, I think. So I did play some of the campaign. I did play some of the multiplayer. I did not play zombies at all. I don't know why. But this one, I think a lot of people really, really enjoy the campaign for World War II, and multiplayer is just all right. I only played maybe like a handful of matches in the multiplayer. I do know there's a hub in here that you can do, which is interesting. And I mean, yeah, there's not really too much. This one does look good. I can say that from what I remember. It looks really good. And yeah, that's really it. The beginning, starts with D-Day, so there's that very, very graphic opening, of course. But yeah, definitely, again, multiplayer, I think this is the one that has the most multiplayer trophies. So I definitely would like to knock this one out whenever I can, so I can just focus on that single player. And then this one I'm not gonna spend too much time on, because I just kind of got it because it was an indie game and I was really trying to pick up some indie games. Close to the Sun, don't know too much about it, so we're just gonna quickly breeze over that. Just wanted to show that I have it. Concrete Genie is next. This one I really enjoyed. Concrete Genie. This came out in 2019, and then I'm pretty sure I got it the year after in 2020. I didn't really get to playing it until 2021. This is when, beginning of 2021, well, the end of 2020 and beginning of 2021, I just was not in like the best mind space. part of that really was like because of COVID, but also just because I wasn't working at the time. So for a while, you know, I worked at a trampoline park, and then I got a job at a pharmacy. So you asked one of my friends, Publix pharmacy, that changed me, dude. That changed me for the worst. That I started that job in late July. I was done by October. I couldn't do it. I could not handle that job. And so I was doing that on top of school. My, like, the main pharmacist there was like not understanding. Well, I shouldn't say not understanding, but she was scheduling me during like when I would have class. And so this was during COVID, during like so all my classes were online. So there were just days when, like, really on Friday, or no, there were a couple days during the week where I just have to like skip class and go to work. And I'm like, I'm not about to do that. And like pharmacy just wasn't for me, dude. Like that line of work was not for me. Like, shout out to, if there are any pharmacy techs watching this, shout out to you. I just couldn't do it. And so I only lasted for maybe 2 months. And so I was just like, after that, I just was not really in the best mind space. And this game really like helped me get through that. This a really short game. I don't want to say a fun game because the subject matter, I mean, it's not like intense because it's E10, but you know, just like this kid, you're an outcast and you find a genie and then you just like start creating art around your little small town. It's a super fun game. If you've never played this, I could not recommend this enough. It's super fun, super simple. The platinum is really easy. I do have the platinum for this one, and I just did. It's such a good game. Like, I just, I can go on, but it's such a good game. I play this if you have not. That's all I'm gonna say. And it may be like the whole, like, just the whole where I was at in the beginning of 2021. That might be like why I hold this game up like such high regard, but it is such a good game. Like, I seriously like encourage anyone to play it. Not only play it, but to platinum it, because it's a very simple platinum. There are DLC trophies, but you need the PlayStation VR headset to do. I had no, I don't think at this time I did. I did have PSVR, but I'm gonna talk about that more so when it comes to the digital library. But yeah, I didn't play. I got rid of it at that point, so I couldn't do that. But I have it again, so maybe at some point I can go back and clean up those trophies. Next one. This was actually a really big surprise of 2019, but it was Control. At the time, I was not into Remedy game. Like, I heard of the studio before. My dad had Alan Wake when that came out, but he didn't want me to play it because it was too scary, which in hindsight, it probably would have been too scary for like 10, 11-year-old me. Nowadays, that's not, at least the first one isn't that scary. Alan Wake 2, there are some jump scares in that one. But, so Alan Wake was the only like game I don't want to say at the time I knew about, but probably one of the only Remedy games I'd heard about. My dad did get Quantum Break, which came out in 2016. I believe it was 2016. And I played probably half of that game. But Control is really what put Remedy on my radar. Again, I got this on a whim. I don't think I even pre-ordered it. I just walked into GameStop one day whenever it came out, and I'm like, I want to get Control. And I had a blast with Control, bro. It was such a surprise gem of 2019. I platinumed it in like a week. Again, I was not into platinums as heavily as I am now. This is one of the first games I platinumed, technically, if you think about it, across like my, let's see, the time that I had the PS4. This was probably maybe in double digits, starting double digits. And so the Control is such a fantastic game. I even double dipped and got the Ultimate Edition on PS5. So at some point I probably will platinum it again. And so this really did kickstart my whole fixation on the Remedy universe. After I played this, once I built my PC, shortly after I played Alan Wake for the first time, and then of course I played Alan Wake 2. I would like to go back and play like the original Max Payne's, because I know the first two were made by Remedy but in conjunction with Rockstar. So in a way they're technically Remedy games, but not like as heavy. And then Quantum Break, of course, I would like to revisit that someday. I think I did buy it again on my Xbox. And so, but yeah, Control, probably one of my favorite Remedy games. It's so cool how it's like interconnected all the other games now. Like, I remember there was Alan Wake DLC for it, and then I don't want to say this version, but a version of Jesse Faden was in Alan Wake 2 in the DLC, which is really cool. And so, yeah, Control, love this game a lot. Definitely gonna have to revisit it again on PS5 for sure. Next up, we have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. This game was hard as balls, bro. I never finished. There's 3 games on this. I never finished Crash Bandicoot 1. I've tried to play it so many times, and it's just like, I don't know. I think it's just usually because I usually play it and then bounce off and play something else. If I were to just like play this, like just solely play this and focus on it, I probably could like get a decent amount of the game done. I'm pretty sure I have probably like the first third of the game done. But yeah, I definitely, like, again, I just have this in my backlog. It's just been sitting there for a while. Fun fact though, I did get this from Toys R Us back when that was still going around, back when that was a thing. I did get this from Toys R Us because it was a really good deal. I'm pretty sure it was like the cheapest there out of all the other places at the time. And so, just a fun fact, just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot, again, this is my first time really experiencing it. I know this dude goes way back to like PS1 and it's kind of bounced around between like this and Xbox and everything. So yeah, this is really my introduction to the Crash Bandicoot games, lore, all that. And so yeah, definitely I gotta check it out. I gotta see what all the hype's about for one of what was at the time PlayStation's, I guess, premier IPs. Because I remember he was like a big marketing push during the PS1 era. Like, I think he was he was really the unofficial mascot for a while, but that's kind of changed now that Activision owns them. So yeah, Crash Bandicoot. And then last up with the C's, actually not going to spend too much time talking about this because I didn't play it on PlayStation, but Cyberpunk 2077, easily one of my favorite games of all time. I don't want to spend too much because I could go on and on and on about Cyberpunk 2077, but pretty much to like boil things down, I built a PC. So for a while, I remember like watching the trailers and stuff. I'm like, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but for some reason, I'm like, I want to build a PC for this game. And in hindsight, that's probably the best decision I could have made, because if I got this on PS4, I probably would have been upset, because as you all probably know about this game, it did not run the best on like PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It ran a little better on PS5 and like the new, like the Series X, but still wasn't to like the best quality that it could have been. I definitely think it needed maybe like another year or so in the oven to kind of polish things out. At the time I had a PS4 Pro, so if I played it on that, I probably wouldn't have had like a big, I don't think the like bugs and all the frame rate dips would have been as bad on PS4 Pro at the time. I don't know if you did play it on PS4 Pro. Definitely let me know. I just know it ran a lot better on PS5, but it wasn't the native PS5 version, so you know, I mean, there was that. I do know my dad, he had the Xbox One X, and I would check in occasionally, like see how it ran for him. There were definitely some frame rate drops, but I don't think it, like he finished the game, so it didn't really bother him. But yeah, this one I primarily played on PC. I synced like 100 hours into this game. It's literally just like my first playthrough, which I played for like 3 weeks. Probably not even 3 weeks, but like I was super duper hyped for this game. And I just remember, again, I wasn't in the best mind space when this came out, and so that kind of really got me, this game really got me through that time, that like late December time. And it's like I was on winter break. It was my sophomore year of college, winter break, and from the moment I woke up, like there were days where like the moment I woke up at like maybe like 10 or something to the moment I went to bed, which was probably like 2 in the morning, this was all I played. So like, this is really like the first game, the first RPG really where I was really got into it super heavy. And ever since then, it's become one of my favorite games like ever. Like I could really just go on and on and on about Cyberpunk, but to keep this like I'm really trying to keep this video as like concise as I can. So that's really all I'm gonna say. Again, I haven't played the PS4 version. The reason I even got it was because I remember it was on sale on Amazon for maybe like 10 bucks. And so there's like the PS5 version. I'm pretty sure this one does have the PS5 upgrade, and like there's the whole like there's the Ultimate Edition for Cyberpunk, which includes the Phantom Liberty DLC. So I don't know if there's like a really good deal on the Ultimate Edition, I might swing that way. But yeah, I just got this one because it was on a really good sale, so I was like, why not? We're gonna move on to the D's. We're gonna start with Dark Souls Remastered. I am kind of iffy on the whole Soulsborne genre as a whole. I've tried getting into these games so many times. It's just kind of like, I get to a point where I just get to like a boss or something, or like an area, and like I die a lot, and I'm just like, I can't keep doing this. I don't know how this is fun. And so the reason I got Dark Souls Remastered, of all things, was because I remember this, I actually got this the day Elden Ring came out. And I just wasn't, again, Soulsborne games weren't really my thing, but I remember my dad got it. I'm like, you know what? This hype is kind of getting to me. I don't want to get Elden Ring, but I want to get all the Dark Souls games, like all the Soulsborne games, and like play through those. And so I got this the day of. Funny enough, I got this at Walmart. It was like 20 bucks. And so I actually played like a decent chunk of Dark Souls Remastered. I probably like halfway through. I haven't finished it because, again, it took me a while to even get to that halfway point because I got lost so many times. I had to pull up like so many walkthroughs for this game. It's not even funny. Like I don't know. I know like I think once you get into the groove of Dark Souls games, you actually like, you know, you can get into it. But yeah, for me, it took me a while to get into it. I just never found it. I never finished it. But yeah, I'm halfway through, so I definitely would like to, you know, jump back in and just try to at least finish it one of these days. But yeah, that's how I have Dark Souls. I also have Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. I'm not gonna spend too much time with these just because I haven't played them. I played Dark Souls 3 actually. I do remember I rented this from a Redbox, out of all things, back in, I think when did this come out? I'm gonna say I rented this in 2015. That's just when I remember playing it. Either 2015 or 2016. That's just when I rented it. I don't know when this came out. But yeah, Dark Souls 2, I don't know too much about this one, and so I'm just gonna keep that very brief. Moving on though, we then have Deadpool. Super glad I got this on physical because this is not on digital services anymore. And I'm pretty sure after Deadpool and Wolverine came out, the prices for these like jacked up. And so I got this on from GameStop back in, I got this in 2016. I know the remaster probably came out earlier than that because, I mean, this is remaster of the PS3 version, which I believe came out in 2013 or 2012. I'm pretty sure it was 2013 because I remember it was around the same time as The Last of Us. And so Deadpool is an interesting one. Playing on PS4 when I had to do it last year for that video, it was very interesting because I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's a PS4 issue because I tried looking into it, but it would just like freeze for maybe a second every few seconds, and it drove me nuts, dude. It was so annoying. But yeah, Deadpool is an interesting one to talk about. First of all, this has nothing to do with it. I just find it very strange that the disc is a pancake. I've always questioned that. I never really understood why that was the case. That's very random. I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, I don't know. It's an okay video game. That's all I will say. Didn't hate my time with it, but also wasn't like super enthused about it. It's an okay game. I can definitely see how the reviews were pretty middling at the time. I will say the Nolan North as Deadpool is like the best thing about this game. The gameplay is also like pretty fine. You know, you get multiple weapons, but like melee and guns and stuff, which is fine. But yeah, I remember like when I played it, I was just like, it's all right. You know, the platinum wasn't terrible either. You know, it doable. I was able to knock it out. I played it when I first got it in like 2016, because I remember that's when the Deadpool movie, that's probably why I got it, was because the Deadpool movie was coming out. And so I played it at the time. I had most of the trophies done at the time. It was really just clean up at that point. So that's what I did. And that is the story of Deadpool. Now we get to a weirder title, Death Stranding. I just remember seeing like, so I will admit, the trailers for this were really cool. If there's one thing Hideo Kojima can do, he can make a good trailer. And so the trailers did get me for this, but I remember the reviews kind of pulled me away because, again, at the time, I know like we're kind of getting into some murky waters here with Metal Gear Solid 5 was like the last Hideo Kojima game I played. I know there was some Fallout, which is just why I put air quotes with that. And so he went on to make his own studio. We got Death Stranding with my boy Norman Reedus. And the reviews got to me. I saw the reviews. I'm like, I'll hold off on this. And so I got this maybe like a year after it came out, on sale, of course. And I played for maybe a couple hours. It was super weird. I had no idea what was going on. And I haven't played it since. But with Death Stranding 2 out, I would really love to visit. I'd really love to play this at some point. I know there's a director's cut, which is probably what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go down that route. So I don't think this one has the free upgrade. Because the director's cut added some new content, so I'm pretty sure I would have to pay maybe like $10 or so for this. But that's fine. It's definitely better than paying however much it is for that version. And so, yeah, that's what I would like to do because I've heard nothing but good things about Death Stranding 2. I think it's nominated for Game of the Year this year. And so I would just, see how it all began, see where the Stranding began. I don't know. I don't know anything about this game. And so I just hear it's like a nice little walking sim, you're just delivering packages. I know there's more to it, of course, but sounds fun to me. Sounds like a good time, a jolly good time to me. And then we have quite a few D games to get through. We have quite a few. We've only done a handful here so far, but next up we have Destroy All Humans, the remake. I picked this one up. This was back in, I want to say 2022 when I picked this up. Of course, this came out earlier. This one came out in 2020. So yeah, Destroy All Humans. Actually, so if you've seen like my Destroy All Humans video where I platinumed them twice, I have an I shouldn't say extensive, but there is some history here. I do remember my dad, he had the Xbox. I remember, just sometimes whenever I was with GameStop with my parents, I'd like just try, I wanted to get a game. And so my mom, of course, was like, if you can find the cheapest game here, you can get it. And I remember I found Destroy All Humans on the Xbox, probably, I don't know, if I had to guess, maybe $5, 10 at the most at the time. And so I played like some of it, which is just how my fascination with the series began. I remember back in 2017 when I had my PS4, just cruising the PlayStation store. I saw Destroy All Humans 1 and 2 were there on sale for pretty cheap, so I got both of those. And so I played a little bit of the original Destroy All Humans, and then I got the remake back in 2022. And then last year is when I finally played it. And so this one is definitely the version I would recommend. It is a remake, but all like the guts and stuff of the original Destroy All Humans is there. Like the story wise, it's pretty much the same. From like a voice acting perspective, I'm pretty sure it's the same. Maybe like a few additional lines of dialogue. I think there is a mission in here in this version that was cut from the original that they were able to put back in here, which is cool. And so the only thing, I don't know if the PS4 version though is the one I would recommend, just because from my experience, I had bugs. I don't remember having that many bugs in this game, but crashes, it was crashing like crazy, dude. And eventually it corrupted my save file, which really pissed me off. And so if you do, I've always, like, people comment every now and then, if you do decide, like, if you haven't played it, if you want to get the PS4 version, always back up your save files, either through the cloud or through a USB stick, because PS4 games, you can still back up to a USB flash drive, which is my preferred method. I like having more control. I feel like I have more control if I have it that way. So yeah, that's why I did my second playthrough when I had to do it again. I would just every chance I got, like every hour or so, I would always back it up to a USB flash drive. And so that's what I always tell people when they comment under my videos. But if you can, really try to play this somewhere else. I know I probably shouldn't be saying that because it's a PlayStation, this is the whole PlayStation thing. But because I don't know how it is on other platforms. But like if you can play this on PC, if you can play this on Xbox, I don't know if this is on Switch, but if it is, if you can play it on there, if you can play it anywhere, I would recommend that. Because yeah, that crash really threw me for a whole spiral. So that's my suggestion there. But overall, I really do enjoy the first Destroy Humans game, and I would recommend it to anyone looking for a nice, chill, funny action game. Moving on, we have Destroy All Human, or moving on, we have Detroit Become Human. My first Quantic Dream game. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I actually talk about it quite a bit in my trophy cleanup video that I made earlier this year. And so this was my first Quantic Dream game. This is really one of the few games I've played with my sister. Like we would just play together because I mean it's not like, you know, not much to it. You're just walking around making decisions, occasionally partaking in the QTE events. And this is a nice chill game that me and my sister could kind of vibe with together. And you know, like I said in that video, she would like help me make some of the choices. We went for like the good run, so you know, she's like, no, do this, do that, whatever. And you know, just fond memories, you know, very fond memories I have with my sister playing this game. And so I know a lot of people, I remember when I played this last year for the platinum cleanup thing, I was looking into some retrospectives because I'm like, I enjoyed my time playing this again. And you know, looking into the retrospectives, I can definitely see how some of the themes they touch on could be a bit shallow the way they like talk about it. But I don't know, man. I think maybe because it was the first, I enjoyed it a lot. You know, I had a fun time with it. I did. I really enjoyed playing it back in 2018 when I got it the first time, and revisiting it again in 2024 to get the platinum. Because again, like there was some cleanup involved, yes, but I did have to do a whole nother playthrough for the evil choices, which it was fun. It was enjoyable doing that, and so it was just really nice revisiting it again. This isn't like BioShock. I don't really think. I can definitely see the argument for like how they treat some of the subject matter, especially when it comes to like I guess robot racism or something. I don't know like the best way to phrase that, but I don't know. I enjoy it. That's really all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna keep this one pretty brief as well. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I talked about Deus Ex in my PS3 video, and this one I just never got to because I never finished that Deus Ex game. I just know, I think a lot of people don't really hold this one in high regard either. I think it's a shorter game, which is a main reason, but I think the pre-order thing, there was like some pre-order like debacle with this one where like if a certain people pre-order the game, you get like better prizes or something. Very weird way of doing that. I think that's kind of when pre-order marketing just kind of hit its like the top of the wave or something. Like after that, just kind of, you gotta slow down. We gotta understand why we're pre-ordering games here. You know what I mean? I know there's like this whole pre-order, like don't pre-order games. I still do. I don't care. Fight me. I dare you. But yeah, I don't have too much to say about this one. I just know, yeah, I don't have too much to say. And now we get to probably one of the game franchises that really put me on to character action games, which is Devil May Cry. Actually, no, let's not start with this one, because like the last video, I have them in alphabetical order, if you couldn't already tell. We're gonna start with this one, DMC Devil May Cry, because this might hurt some folks. This was my introduction to the Devil May Cry franchise. I played back when my dad was giving back when he was getting demo discs for the Xbox 360. I remember Devil May Cry 4 was on there, so that's technically my introduction. But no, DMC Devil May Cry is my introduction to the Devil May Cry franchise. I got this one. This was back in 2015. This is when I finished middle school, and there's a couple other games that I got. One of them I'm going to touch on later. But yeah, DMC Devil May Cry is my introduction. I I don't know how much of a hot take it is nowadays to say I enjoy this game. I enjoyed it at the time, maybe because it was my first Devil May Cry game. But when I look at it, like when I look at videos and stuff, I just see like the combat. I think there's no denying that the combat in this game is really good because Ninja Theory is the one who did this one. And so combat is like phenomenal in this game. That's like without a question. I think just a lot of people, for understandable reasons, don't like the change of direction, especially when it comes to Dante. The story, you know, we're rebooting the franchise pretty much. The story's different, the art style is different, the vibes are different. So I just think a lot of hardcore Devil May Cry fans enjoyed it as much. I can, again, completely understand. Those opinions are 100% valid. I'm pretty sure, because I have played through all the Devil May Cry games since, and I'm pretty sure if I were to revisit this, maybe my opinion on that would change. You know, I was like 14, 15, so I thought that edgy stuff was cool, of course. And, you know, playing it now that I'm 25, my frontal lobe, you know, developing. If not, it's already fully developed. I might cringe at that stuff nowadays, but I don't know. Gameplay, I mean, the gameplay holds up, that's for sure. I can say the gameplay probably still holds up. But yeah, revisiting it, looking at all the other stuff surrounding that, might not be as enthused this time around, but I still enjoy this game as much. But of course, we get to the crown jewel, which is the Devil May Cry. I have the HD collection, which includes Devil May Cry 1, Devil May Cry 2, and Devil May Cry 3. 3, geez, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know my directions here. 3 is easily my favorite out of this package. I'm not going to say my favorite out of all the Devil May Cry games, because for me, I think that goes to Devil May Cry 5, but Devil May Cry HD Collection is my introduction to the, well, not my introduction, but, well, really my hardcore introduction to character action games, because I enjoyed my time. I played all of Devil May Cry 1, didn't get the platinum, but I did play through the story. Devil May Cry 2, I didn't finish, I didn't like it. I'm probably gonna have to force myself to play it again whenever I revisit the franchise. And yeah, Devil May Cry 3 is my favorite out of this whole trilogy. I really enjoyed Devil May Cry 3 a lot. Just improves on the formula so much. And yeah, one of my favorite games, one of my favorite character action games, easily. The reason I have it still in like the shrink wrap is because this is another one of those games where I got my PC, I traded in, because I got it on Amazon back in like 2018. I think that's when they dropped because this also came out on PS3, this whole HD collection. But yeah, PS4, 2018, got that version, and so I got it again probably from Amazon. That's like the second time, so that's why it's still in its shrink wrap. I just haven't played it since I first played it back in 2018, but I definitely want to replay it at some point in the future. And then we go on to Dishonored 2. I touched on Dishonored quite a bit in my PS3 video, and naturally, of course, we gotta talk about Dishonored 2. I got this one Christmas of 2016, not the Steelbook, because again, traded this in when I got my PC. So I got the Steelbook from Second to Charles. Forget this, $15. $15. That's actually really good. You know, it's the same front and back, but really cool art on the box. That's for sure. Oh, look at this. That's hilarious. A code for the definitive version of Dishonored, which I already have, because the code expired in 2017, so I can't use it now. But there's that, and then there's this, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, also expired in 2017. And then just paper for Dishonored 2. Very generic controls. That's really it. I saw the trophy symbol. It does talk about trophies, which, yay, I guess. I don't know. I miss manuals, dude. I really do. But yeah, anyway, Dishonored 2, don't have too much to say about this one, just because I didn't play this one as extensively as the first Dishonored when I got the definitive edition for my PS4. Because that one, like I said, I played through twice. I did my like Chaos run, and then I did my Pacifist run. This one, I was trying to go back and forth for a minute. So like I remember I got this Christmas morning. I did one playthrough as, I think Emily is her name. So I did one playthrough as Emily. I'm pretty sure I did like a chaos run where I was just killing everything as her. And then immediately after, so I can like memorize the routes and stuff, I would do a pacifist run as Corvo. And so eventually I just abandoned that. I just did my whole like one playthrough chaos, killing everybody. And so I did that. And just like, actually wow, I just realized, I think they rang me up for the wrong thing. Because if you look at the sticker, it says Darksiders. Yeah, it says Darksiders 2. Definitive edition. So I'm pretty sure they rang me up for the wrong thing, which is kind of funny. But anyway, Dishonored 2, I don't have like a lot to say about this one compared to Dishonored 1. I'll just have to go back and like replay it and, you know, see how well it holds up. I just know the clock, I think like there's a tower, a clock tower or something. A lot of people still hold up in high regard. So there's that. And then I also got Death of the Outsider. Again, another game that's in a shrink wrap because I traded it in. Look at my PC. And don't remember this one too much. I just know it's based off the character that they introduced in Dishonored 2. So you just play as her. Pretty much the same gameplay wise. It's a shorter game. I just don't remember too much about it. So yes, whenever I go back and do this Dishonored, these Dishonored games, this will be one of them. We have Doom Eternal. I do have the original Doom. It's a digital thing. I'll get to that later. So yeah, Doom Eternal. This is, again, one of those games I got on my PC. This is actually the third time I've gotten this game. So when I got on PC, I got it on sale, but I could only use it through the Bethesda store. So I played it a little bit there. And then eventually I was like, I don't like having all these like storefronts on my PC. So I eventually bought it again on PC. But that was before I found out that because they were going to shutter the Bethesda service anyway. So it's like, if you bought anything on Bethesda's like gaming service, you can migrate that over to Steam. And I'm like, damn it, I didn't need to buy it again. But lo and behold, I bought it the third time on from Best Buy. And so again, PS5 upgrade. So I'm definitely going to go the PS5 route whenever I get around to playing Doom Eternal. And yeah, when I played on PC, I did enjoy what I played. Again, I played the original Doom, so I was familiar with the combat structure in there. This one though is more like, you're in the air a lot in this one. And so I think that's just the main thing that separates this from Doom and even then Doom the Dark Ages, where in the Dark Ages, you're really on the ground, like boots on the ground, it's all heavy and everything. And so Doom Eternal, definitely gonna do the PS5 version opposed to the PS4 version. This one does have multiplayer trophies in it, so I'm gonna hopefully try and knock that out as soon as I can. But yeah, that's Doom Eternal. Then we have Dragon Age Inquisition. This was actually my introduction to the Dragon Age franchise. I remember this was in 2015. My family, we just went to the mall. Of course, every time I go to a mall, I have to go into a GameStop. I saw this, it was on sale. I got it, not knowing anything about Dragon Age, still very, very brand spanking new to RPGs, so I didn't know what to make of that. I just remember seeing like a bunch of reviews, a bunch of good reviews for it. I think it won Game of the Year in 2014. I wasn't into the Game Awards at that time, but I do remember seeing that it won in 2014. And then yeah, I played for maybe a few hours when I first got it. Again, I just wasn't into like Dragon Age and like RPGs like I am now. And so I traded in very quickly after that, but I ended up buying it again, as you can see. And whenever I do get around to playing all the Dragon Age games, I definitely would like to play Inquisition and see how it works, because I mean, first two are on PS3 and then this one's on PS4. So I'm just very curious how, you know, those choices carry over. I'm pretty sure at the beginning there's like a thing where it's like, did you do this, did you do that, yada yada yada. And so yeah, very interested to see how this plays out. Very curious how Dragon Age fans look at this now, just because I feel like with Veilguard, I've just seen nothing but negativity for Dragon Age. I think really just because like BioWare, people are like, BioWare's changed and all that. So I don't know, I'm just very curious to see how people still talk about this one. Then we get to one of my favorite games from the PS4, which is Dying Light: The Following. This is another one along with BioShock, one that I got for my 16th birthday, and pretty much changed my trajectory for games since. I absolutely love Love Dying Light. I played the following DLC as well. Really enjoyed that. This game, like, it just took over my life for a little while. I remember it was Christmas, around Christmas time of 2016. Again, wasn't feeling, the best. I was going through my little heartbreak phase. And so this is one of those games that kind of got me through it. And yeah, I just even like looking beyond how like my feelings and stuff, it's just a really good game, really fun game. You throw parkour and zombies together. Who knew you'd be making such a fantastic product, dude? And so, I mean, yeah, Kyle Crane, a lot of people hype my boy Kyle ever since. And so I played a good chunk of this as well back in like 2017, 2018 with the base game and the DLC. And I want to go back. I want to get the platinum. There are a few multiplayer trophies in this as well. So maybe I'll get one of my buddies to do it. He's also a really big fan of Dying Light as well. So I might just end up doing that. But yeah, just really love Dying Light. And that takes care of all the D games. Very quickly, we do have one E game, which is Everspace. This is my most recent pickup for a PS4 game. I got this one probably a month ago when I'm recording this. And the main reason I really got it is, one, I really enjoy a good space, arcadey space game, but it's also a roguelite, which is I think it's roguelite. Or roguelike, sorry. It does say roguelike on the back of the box. And I've really grown fond of that genre over like the last couple years or so. And I just feel like those were like a very good two meshing of genres here. And so, don't know too much about it, but I've seen things before, and that's the main reason I got the first one. So, moving on to F's. All of them, not all of them, two of them are Far Cry games. Far Cry 4, got this one in 2014 on Christmas, but I didn't play too much of it. So for a while, Far Cry games just weren't scratching an itch for me. Like, I would get them, but just something about them didn't really do it for me. But I do remember this one. There was like a demo that came out a few months, sometime when the game was about to come out. And there was a guy I played with in middle school. We both played it together for a few hours. But when I did eventually get the game, I played solo. I only played it for like a few hours. Again, just Far Cry wasn't really doing it for me. It wasn't until Far Cry 5 when I was really getting into the whole Far Cry formula and everything. But yeah, Far Cry 4, I played a little bit of it. I got it again when I was getting into the platinum stuff. And then I saw there's not multiplayer trophies, but there are like community things. And I remember for a while those trophies were bugged. I believe now they are not. I'd have to look at it again, but I do believe some of the community like PS4 trophies you can get now. So I'm definitely gonna have to look into that after I do this, and if I can, I'm gonna try and knock those out real quick. So that's Far Cry 4. Now that I'm like kind of getting into the Far Cry formula, I definitely would like to revisit this and just, play through it. I definitely think I would enjoy it now more so than I did when I got it in 2014. We'll just have to see. My same logic applies to Far Cry Primal. Again, I got this one in 2016. Yeah, 2016. Only played it for like a few hours, nothing too crazy. I'm just like, I'm not really vibing with the Far Cry formula again. And so I was trying to see if there was a price. I got this for $10. So not too bad. And this one's also very different because it's primal. So you're back in like caveman days. No one speaks English. You're fighting with bows and arrows and like sticks and clubs, which I think is pretty cool. Change up. But yeah, I just wasn't vibing with Far Cry at the time. But now I would like to go back and, to see how it holds up. And then we get to Fallout 4, my introduction to the Fallout series. The only Fallout game I played extensively. I definitely have over 100 hours in the base game. I haven't even touched the DLC for it. I did get like the season pass eventually, but I played maybe actually I lied. I think I did play whichever one had the robots. Whichever one focused heavily on the robots. I did play that one. That was about it though. I know like the Sunlord Harbor DLC was really good. But yeah, this is my introduction to the Fallout franchise. This completely changed me. I remember this came out my freshman year of high school in 2015. Can you believe that? And there was one class, it was like a computer class I had. I remember the guy next to me, he was super excited for Fallout 4. He was talking to me about it for a while. And then I eventually got it for Christmas that year. I played it. I got quite a few games for Christmas back in 2015. This was the only one I played, pretty much. And then come spring break my freshman year, that's all I played. Similar to Cyberpunk, there were days where from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, which was like 2 or 3 in the morning, I was just playing this, dude. That's all I played. And that's RPGs, man. They will hook you in and they will keep you synced in for hours at a time. That's exactly what I did here. And I eventually finished it later that year. And yeah, dude, that's Fallout 4. Like I think looking back, there are definitely some things, like, because I have gone back and played through, like, Fallout 3 and New Vegas. I never finished them, but I did play through them. And so going back and, like, looking at this, I can see how some people can see how, like, some of the mechanics were kind of stripped back, especially the dialogue, how that was very, I will admit, that's very, like, very elementary, the way they did it. Or just, like, yes, no, sarcastic question, like, get more information about it. The building thing, so building mechanics in games, if it's not the main focus, I'm not like super like laser focused on that as well. There is a like building like where you can build settlements and stuff. I messed around with it for a little bit, but that wasn't the main thing I was really into. Really just exploring the wasteland with companions, my power armor, and some radio music blasting alongside me was just like super fun. And so I'd really love to go back. The thing about Fallout 4 now is like it's getting the Skyrim treatment. They're releasing so many versions because you have this version that came out on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and then you have the remaster that they did last year when the Fallout show was coming out, and now they're doing an anniversary collection. And it's just like, how many times are y'all gonna re-release this game? It's actually insane how they're doing that. But yeah, Fallout 4, especially like when I first played it, just like there's not much more I can say. I love Fallout 4. Dang, this actually should have gone way back. I blanked. I organized my game collection like early this morning, but Days Gone. This should have been way back, but yeah, Days Gone. Days Gone is interesting, an interesting one. I mean, again, I kept my eye on it. I saw it in a bunch of E3 trailers. Has my boy Sam Witwer, who I love from The Force Unleashed. So, you know, him being in this game definitely shot it up a few notches. A zombie game, you know, focus, bro. A zombie game, well, not zombies, freakers. Let me get that clear. So I got this, the weekend that Endgame came out. And so I remember playing it. This was my senior year of high school. And so at that point, like, there was the last month of high school. We weren't doing anything. And so this is one of those games where it's a long game, right? So this is one of those games where, like, when I was done with school, I would come home and I pretty much just played this. And I did get the platinum for it at the time. I did a lot of grinding, a lot of listening to music, a lot of listening to podcasts when I was grinding through this. But I did get the platinum nonetheless. It's an enjoyable game. I can't really recall much about the story just because it's a long story. I do feel like the story is a little longer than it should be, in my opinion. But I mean, the gameplay loop is fun. You know, there are some enjoyable moments in the story. Fighting the hordes of freakers is always fun as well. And yeah, Days Gone. I should cover this way back, but Days Gone, really enjoyable game. They just did a remaster of it, which I feel like the PS4 remasters of PS4 games are just really murky waters because it's like, what are we doing? Why are we remastering it? But this actually is one I probably would pick up just because it's been a while since I did play it. It would be nice to replay it, get some trophies, you know, pop that platinum again. And yeah, dude, Days Gone. Really enjoy this game. Then we go on to pretty much the swan song of the PS4 generation, Ghost of Tsushima. Really love this game. I love Sucker Punch. The gameplay in Ghost of Tsushima is phenomenal. Carries over very well in Ghost of Yotei. And so Yeah, this came out like a month after The Last of Us Part 2. I remember not like being super into it in the beginning. I thought the beginning of Ghost of Tsushima was kind of slow to me, but once I really got into the groove, once I started unlocking more techniques and just got deeper into the story, I absolutely love this game. Going for the platinum was incredibly fun. I enjoyed doing that. I mean, so many people praise Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's got to the point now where like a lot of people will call it overrated. I'm pretty sure I'd have to go back and play it, but I definitely I like this game. I remember when the director's cut came out like a year or two after. I did, once I got my PS5, I did upgrade that, and then I really wish I didn't do the auto pop for this, because it would have been fun to go back and actually play it again before Ghost of Yote came out and got the platinum again, but it is what it is. I did enjoy the DLC for this also when it came out, so yeah, just Ghost of Tsushima. I love this game. I love this studio. Just make another Infamous game, please. But I think they've moved on to the Ghost franchise, which I enjoy. I really do like the Ghost games. So that's Ghost of Tsushima. We get into God of War 3 next. I got this one because this is the remaster of the PS3 version, which I touched on a little bit in my last video. But I did play this. I got it from a Redbox, another one of those Redbox games that I rented back in 2015, because I believe that's when the remaster dropped. And the reason I got the PS4 version was because I played through all the God of War games before 2018 came out. And so when I was going through my God of War like franchise thing, I noticed I had like pretty much all the story trophies for God of War 3 on the PS3. So I didn't think it'd be kind of interesting to do a cleanup video for that. So I figured I would get the PS4 version. It was pretty cheap, and I only had maybe 5 trophies unlocked at the time. And so I just went down that route. And I mean, this God of War 3, man, it's just a phenomenal game. Pretty great conclusion to the Greek saga for Kratos. And yeah, just one of, just a really good game, dude. Just the set piece, like I'm just looking at the back of the box. The set pieces in this game, phenomenal. If it'll focus, there we go. We got Kronos, Poseidon. Who's that guy on the? Oh, it's just like him with Athena. But yeah, dude, this such an amazing game. I platinumed it way back in March. I seriously need to get back into the God of War videos because I've been slacking on that. But yeah, God of War 3, just so because it had been a while since I played it, and I didn't play God of War 2, like I mentioned. And so having that context for God of War 2 really, really enhanced my experience with this the second time around. So I'm really glad I was able to like experience that. And then also like Chains of Olympus, I played through that too, which also had some connections to this. And so yeah, just really, really fun being able to just experience that. Continuing with the God of War games, of course, God of War 2018. This was like this really shifted my whole perspective on the God of War games, because before I wasn't like super heavy into God of War like that. I'd play mostly on my PSP, but every now and then like I would rent my God of War 3 or something from Blockbuster here and there. I did play through some of them before this came out, but this one really like changed my whole perspective on like God of War, on Kratos. And to be honest, I think this really was for the best, because I don't want to say everyone, but if you ask like some people like their thoughts on like God of War and like Kratos, I don't think a lot of people like hold them as fondly, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, Kratos, especially in the early games, is really just set on vengeance, right? And that's a good enough like storyline on itself, right? But like if you have like 6 games that are kind of like that, really just Kratos getting mad at the gods for something, it can, drag on a bit. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I've been playing through the God of War games this year. I've been enjoying the God of War games, right? But this one, like, it just really, really like changed everything, right? And I can see how some people would be like, oh, this version of Kratos is too emotional, or something like that. And if that's what you think, that's that's your opinion. That's valid opinion. I don't see that. I really do feel like I do see this as a change like for the best Like, I really feel like it humanizes Kratos a lot, you know, get like having, you know, Atreus with him and whatnot. I feel like just this for, so a lot of people, I think opinions on Ragnarok have changed. I don't feel like that's the case for 2018. I feel like 2018 to me is like just 2018 to me is just like a masterpiece across the board, you know, like I always think the only thing that really holds it back, in my opinion, is just enemy variety. But at the end of the day, like, that's not really what you're coming to God of War 2018 for. It's been a long enough time, you know, people are coming here for the story, you know, people are coming here to like the humanization of Kratos and like how he bonds with Atreus and just how their whole arc, over the game just progresses naturally. And it just leads to like it just leads to a satisfying ending to everything, and while like opening the door for the sequel, right? But it's just like, dude, this game is so freaking good. Like, I think I would have to do it again, but for a while this game was in my top 10 games of like all time. To be honest, if I were to like remake that list, it probably would still be there. Like, my dad called, I completely lost my train of thought. Let's see, I think I'm saying like this would still be in my top 10 games of all time. It's just really, it's that phenomenal of a game. I mean, you're just taking a lot of just the modern gameplay elements. So I will admit, like, the combat and like, now that I'm playing through like the original God of War games, the combat in those games definitely a lot more punchy, a lot more flashy. You know, I'm not like the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan of like enemies that are damage sponges, right? Just constantly like knocking them, hitting them with a bunch of like, you know, just whatever. But even still, the axe was an excellent change to this. I mean, spoilers if you haven't played the original, or if you haven't played this, you eventually do get the chains, right? And it's just like the way that you get the chains is so satisfying, bro. And yeah, there are so many videos about how great, how phenomenal God of War is, and I mean, I could always throw my hat in the ringer if I want to, but this is so, like, God of War is a phenomenal video game. This, I believe this did win Game of the. Let me actually double check before I like say it, because I could be wrong. Yeah, so this did win Game of the Year 2018. A lot of people, I feel like Game Awards discourse is just always, not always, but sometimes it can get quite negative. But a lot of people always say Red Dead Redemption 2 was robbed. I can understand the arguments, but I mean, I'm not upset that this won Game of the Year. I really, like, this is, like, I think when you just look at everything that came out, 2018 is just a fucking stacked year in general, right? This, though, I can definitely make an argument for this being Game of the Year. I really can. So that's my piece on God of War. We move on from what I consider a masterpiece to probably one of the most butchered re-releases of what I would consider to be masterpieces from their time, which is the Grand Theft Auto Definitive, or no, if I restart, Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the Definitive Edition. What a mouthful right there. Yeah, talk about just butchering some classic video games. This really should have been a slam dunk, because you have three of the most iconic Grand Theft Auto games that released during the PS2 era, right? Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And the fact that I know Rockstar's not the main, like, it was Grove Street Games. They're the ones who put this out. But the fact that Rockstar allowed them to put out what was like a piece of shit at the time, just unacceptable, especially from Rockstar, bro. That's just crazy to think about, right? Like, that's just a major, like, Rockstar really takes an L. This is probably the biggest L I would say they've taken, like, ever, man. Like, I just don't know how they messed it up. Like, so, and the other thing too that really kind of bugs me is that when this was coming out, they got rid of the digital versions of GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas everywhere. So I only have the digital version of San Andreas for PS4, right? And I really wish I went back to buy GTA 3 and Vice City digitally that way too, as the original PS2 versions. Cause yeah, after this, I would much rather go back and platinum those two as opposed to this. They're all their own separate game, but still, It's just, dude, the damage they did. So when I did wait to get physical because like digital came out first, which I feel like should have been a red flag from the get-go, because I remember when they first dropped the trailer, I mean, I was kind of like, I was a bit iffy on it, you know. I was hyped that they were bringing them back, but like when you look at some of the like graphical changes, like the character models and stuff, I was kind of like, it's just, you know, a high coat, like a better coat of paint on like just old or character models, right? Like I would have much rather prefer. I would much rather. Gee, I cannot speak. I would have much rather them like do full-on remakes of these games instead of just like upscaled remasters in a way. That's just my opinion. I know it would have taken like a long time, especially like San Andreas. That's like one of the bigger GTA games, but still, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like it would have been better just to go that route instead of just this. I mean, they still hold up, obviously, but I don't know. That's just how I feel. I plan on doing like some GTA videos next year to get ready for GTA 6. When it comes to this, I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. The only reason I really would play these versions is for the trophies, because otherwise I probably would just go back to like the native PS2 versions of these, just to be completely honest. I'm probably gonna do that anyway and just, you know, still get the trophies for these, but that's my plans for GTA. But yeah, I just mainly, that trophies are the main reason I got this, to be honest. And it was kind of like just in like a little bit of FOMO in a way. I just wanted to see what, like, you know, what all was going on with this. So that's that. And that's GTA. So I do have GTA 5, but that's digital, so we'll get to that in a later point. Getting further into the G's, further into the G's, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series. This is still like when I just, you know, discovered Telltale as a studio. This came out in 2017, so I didn't get this day one, but I did get this sometime after. I'm pretty sure for like Christmas, Black Friday, whatever you want. I honestly don't remember like a lot of this. I just remember like the first episode, you know, something, I don't want to go into spoilers, but something very pivotal happens that kind of changes the course of the rest of the game, which I wasn't expecting. But still, I would say this is like a pretty good Telltale game. Just, you know, at this point, I think Telltale games were pretty much like no. I don't want to say copy and paste, because I mean, it was always with like a different IP, but it was just, you know, the same thing. I think this was like the point when I think people were really getting tired of the Telltale formula. I certainly wasn't. I was still enjoying these very much, but yeah, I think this was just like kind of the beginning of that decline, I guess. And also the only Marvel IP that Telltale has done, I believe, which is another interesting thing. So yeah, I mean, it was an easy platinum, one of the early platinums I got on my profile, so can't really complain about that. But I should revisit this, because yeah, it's been a long time since I played it, and I'm very curious to see how it holds up amongst all the other Telltale games. Going on to a game that has like a very special place, a special memory for me, is Horizon Zero Dawn. So yeah, this was like during that time when, you know, PlayStation was dropping a bunch of those new IPs, right? There was this came out in 2017. Well, not like the same time, but like, or yeah, was it 2017? Yeah, 2017. It wasn't around the same time, but I remember like showing off this, and then showing off Spider-Man and Days Gone and God of War and all that jazz, right? And this was like really just one that caught my eye, because I mean, from a basic like description, it's just, you know, you're a woman fighting robot dinosaurs, right? But there's really more to it. But the reason this is like a very special game to me is because this is the first game I bought when I got my first job. Like I mentioned like earlier in the video, my first job was at a trampoline park, and I remember I got my first check. It was like probably 70 something dollars. And I'm like, we're gonna get a game, and this was the game I got. And yeah, just I remember, again, just like holds a special place for me for that reason. Played a little bit of it when I first got it. So I got my first job in March, and I got my first check sometime in March. So I got this maybe like a month or so after it came out. And I played like some of it, and then I didn't really get around to finishing it until later on that year, probably like around September. I remember, so that was my junior year of high school. We had some like some bad weather, so we didn't go to school for probably a few days. And that's really when I just sank my teeth into it, dove into it, did everything I could. Didn't get the platinum at the time. I didn't get the platinum for this till like 2020, just like randomly cleaning up some games. And so, but I played majority of this game at the time. And to be 100% honest with you guys, I don't remember too much about the story. I do remember like the big plot twists when it comes to like Aloy and stuff, but that's about all I remember. The one thing I will like say about this game, and I wonder how it holds up in the remaster that they did, but there's just a lot of lore that they dump on you, and a lot of it just wasn't super interesting to me necessarily. But I don't know, after playing Forbidden West, it would be cool to revisit this. I do have some DLC, because I did play the DLC. There are some DLC trophies I would like to tackle, and also like the remaster. I would consider getting the remaster. I know this was like really like the peak of people like, why are we, well, this and Last of Us Part 2, but this is just like, why are they remastering PS4 games? But from what I've seen, I feel like this one was kind of justifiable. Like, they took the stuff that worked in Forbidden West and then just apply that here, which I mean, I was like, that's actually kind of like neat. Like, you don't see a lot of games really do that, especially like if they have sequels like this. Yeah, I just feel like that's kind of neat the way they did that remaster. So I would definitely like to revisit it that way. I did buy it on PC a couple years ago, but I'm probably not gonna play that version. If anything, I'm probably just gonna do the remaster for PS5. And then we get to the only game I have that starts with I, Injustice 2. I didn't talk about Injustice a lot in my last video. I did get the PS3 version, but I mostly played Injustice on the Vita, and well, mainly the Vita, because I do have Injustice, it's like the Ultimate Edition for PS4. I got it with PlayStation Plus, and so Vita is probably going to be my main touch point when it comes to the first Injustice. But yeah, Injustice 2, I do remember getting this one day one. Pre-ordered it from Amazon of all places, back when Amazon and Best Buy were like having like really good deals and incentives to pre-order, and so that's how I did that. But this Injustice 2 is the first time I've realized that people take fighting games hardcore, because I had a friend, he also got Injustice 2, so I played a few matches with him. He mained Green Lantern. I did not stand a chance, dog. He was beating my ass, man. It was insane how good this dude was, and the game had only been out for like a couple days at that point. And so yeah, that's when I realized, yo, there's actually more to fighting games than I realized. Like, you know, you have to actually memorize the combos, like how to string combos and all that jazz. And like, yeah, I didn't play much casually like that. I mainly just played it for the story, because I really enjoyed the story in Injustice. Before then, I was rarely a story person for video games or fighting games, but Injustice was like super good. And so I did the same thing with Injustice 2, and that's really the main extent of Injustice 2, unfortunately, was just the story. I played a little bit casually every here and there, but yeah, mostly the story was what I did for Injustice 2. But I toyed around with getting the platinum for this a while ago, but I don't know, dude. It feels like a lot. I don't know. Just fighting games, I tried this with Mortal Kombat 1. Fighting games just take a while, I feel like, to get good at. I'm pretty sure if you just like take some time to play it, then, you know, you'll get the hang of it. But trying to like master different characters and stuff, which I feel like you have to do for the platinum, it's been a while since I looked at the list. I don't know, man. That just seems like a lot. I keep looking at the back of the box and just like, I don't know. The art is really cool. I just really like the box art on the back. You know, I think, I'm trying to think what I played a lot. I did like Supergirl. I did like playing a Supergirl. There's Blue Beetle. Didn't play much of him. Didn't play much of Harley Quinn. Of course, I had to play, you know, Superman, my boy. Pretty sure I did play quite a bit of Batman and Flash and all that. But I also did like the way they did the like light character customization. Like if you customize like Supergirl, for example, with certain like things to return to Power Girl. I think the Flash, if you customize him a certain way, it'd be Reverse Flash. I thought that stuff was really cool. I really enjoyed that aspect of Injustice 2. But yeah, I didn't play this one as much as the first one. That's, again, it was the shock of like, oh my god, like I'm not as even okay with fighting games like I thought I would. That's like I thought I was, you know. So that was a very like, yeah, that was a shock. But I would like to jump back into the saddle one day and just, you know, mess around with Injustice 2, see what I can do. All right, moving on to the J's. There's only 2 here. One of them, Journey to the Savage Planets. I don't know what, well, I know what prompted me to get it, but I don't really know too much about this game. I only played for maybe a few hours or so. And the reason I got it, so back in like late 2020, early 21, I was really into, like, I was doing Let's Plays and stuff in the beginning. That's how I started my YouTube journey, right? And so I remember wanting to get some games that I didn't want to necessarily like record on camera and stuff. I wasn't playing that many, like a variety of games. The only thing I was really playing was like Lego games at the time, but I wanted some games that I didn't like, I knew I wasn't gonna want to record or anything. This is just one of those games I got, and I only played for a few hours. The premise is interesting. I know they just made a second one, Revenge of the Savage Planet, which I would like to get. I just want to finish this one first. And I haven't played it since like whenever I first played it. So definitely have to jump back into this one. A very interesting one, Just Cause 3. I'm kind of a novice to the Just Cause franchise. The only one I really played up to this, like before this one, was Just Cause 2. The only reason I played Just Cause 2 was because it was on the PlayStation Now service, which I talked about a lot in my last video. And I remember this one. This one has a very interesting tale behind it. So I remember when this came out in 2015, it was PC and then consoles, right? I remember PC, so I was watching like a lot of IGN reviews at the time. I still do, but I remember PC review got a glowing review. It was doing really good. Consoles, on the other hand, was not. And that was because of the load times and like the it was constantly like the frame rates would dip when things were getting too hectic and things like that. And so since then, that kind of like put on my radar for whatever reason. And I've gotten this a couple times since, but yeah, I've only played maybe like a handful of hours in this. I mean, of course, like traversing whatever the location is in this is really fun. Blowing things up, which is like the name of the game here, is really fun. But yeah, other than that, like just doing like, you have like this rope that you can like tether things together to, which is really cool. Yeah, other than that though, I don't really remember too much like story. I don't know what the story. You're like liberating some location, I think. That's really all I know. And yeah, that's like just the whole IGN review is like the main thing that IGN was like the main thing that kind of like put my eyes on this. I was laughing because I was reading like purchase, and you could purchase for a chance to win an island. What? Like, bro, I'm actually curious. Oh, there was a code in here that I'm 100% sure it has expired because this is like 10 years ago. But yeah, dude, it's like you could have won an island. I wonder if anyone actually did that. That's so freaking funny. And then of course you have promotions for Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. Oh, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Hitman, and also I guess talking about the future DLC it was gonna have Alien and CPAC. So interesting stuff. And then this came with like a bunch of, I guess this is the day one edition. I bought this years after from Second Charles for $8, and so yeah, codes expired like 5 years ago. But I guess there's the day one Just Cause 3 stuff. It's so weird looking at this stuff now, right? And like seeing the codes and how they've already expired. Because like when you first get this stuff, it's like, oh, that's such a long time. Like if you bought this in 2015, it's like 2020. That's such a long time. Now we're like 5 years from 2020. It's like, it's crazy to think about. Now we get to an integral PS4 game to me, Killzone Shadowfall. It just shows the range of what we're dealing with here. This is the first game I got for my PS4, Killzone Shadowfall. Like I said in my last video, I was familiar with the Killzone franchise. I played demos of the Killzone games. I just never really got into it until this one. Killzone Shadowfall was my first, like my real proper introduction to the Killzone franchise. This one, of course, does a lot of has a lot of the PS4 gimmicks. So you use the touchpad for a lot of things, a lot of the gameplay features. The story I remember being interesting. Again, I was like 13 when this came out, so like there was a lot of like interesting concepts that I think gaming was kind of like doing at the time, if like a little after that. I still remember quite well. I don't know, it's just kind of cool to me when you think about it. I mean, yeah, what sucks is like this is the other Killzone game that had multiplayer, but the servers are shut down, so you can't do the multiplayer trophies anymore, which really sucks, because I would super duper love to have like platinumed all the Killzone games, but we can't do that now. So if anything, I'll just talk about them like retrospectives or stuff, like my first time playing Killzone games. This one I've already played, so like this would just really be like a retrospective looking back on it. But of course, it would make more sense to do it after I played all the Killzone games. You know, that's just how I am. As you can see, the case is like Peggy 18. I got this, like, because again, Killzone was a day one game for me, but I sold it at some point and I got it again. I don't know where from. If I had to guess, it was probably eBay, maybe. I do not know. So yeah, Killzone Shadowfall, my first PS4 game, so I hold it very dearly. Even though I traded it in, I'm glad I was able to get it again. Next, we have the cases out, so let me just pop that back in real quick. The Last of Us Remastered. I actually did not know when I was like, when I was getting all the games together and like organizing them, I did not remember that I had this physical. I had this on digital for like the longest time. It didn't hit me. Like I remember I got this for Christmas one year just because I want the physical version. So I just had this one since, and there's not a lot I can say about The Last of Us that has already been said. I did get it on PS3 originally. You know, I was like 12 at the time, so I wasn't really paying attention to the story that much. Because I remember like when I finished it, I told my dad, because I always told him when I finished games, I was like, I saw a lot of people crying, like what happened at the end? And I was like, I didn't understand it because I just didn't really get, like I didn't connect like the dots. I didn't really understand the theme of the game. I was literally just playing games just to play games at this point. I wasn't really paying attention to stuff super heavily like that. And it wasn't until, so I got it again on PS4 like a year. It was a couple years after it was like a year after the remaster dropped in 2014. And so I played it again then. I understand it a bit better, but it wasn't until 2020 when I was getting ready for The Last of Us Part 2 where the story, admittedly, where it finally hit. Like I had played this a couple times. I'd seen a few playthroughs. My sister was really into like playthroughs and stuff at the time, but it wasn't until that playthrough in 2020 where it cemented like, oh, I understand why this is like such a fantastic game. I mean, you can see over 200 Game of the Year awards, and so it makes sense, right? I can understand it. And so for a while, this was like probably my #1 game of all time. I know, so there's this one, and then there's also the part 1 that came out a few years back to, I guess, prepare for the Last of Us TV show, if you really think about it. Although it does look really good. I did play a little bit of the part 1. I never finished it though. But yeah, dude, I mean, Last of Us Part 1, so it was my #1 game of all time. It's not anymore for reasons I'm about to get into in a second, but you probably guess why. But yeah, this is a fantastic game. Definitely one of the best stories I've played in a video game in a long time. I know there's like a lot of haters for The Last of Us, which I can, like, for The Last of Us Part 1 especially, I can see why. If you really like, if you would like just spew it out to me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure. I mean, I'd listen, I'd like take in your feedback and whatnot, but I mean, it doesn't change the fact that I think this is one of the greatest games ever made. Sure, compared to Last of Us Part 2, the gameplay may feel a bit primitive in some spots. But I don't know, the story, you can't beat the story. You can't beat that excellent performance by Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson. Like, this is just the complete package. But it has been overthrown, in my opinion at least, by The Last of Us Part 2. And yes, I do have the Steelbook, because I went all out for The Last of Us Part 2. I pre-ordered not the most expensive version of The Last of Us Part 2, but this is probably the second, like it was like $200 something, right? I got that statue of Ellie all the way over there. That's the main thing, right? Got the statue, got the Steelbook. I think I got like an art book, some stickers, some pins, stuff like that. But that statue is like the main the main thing I was looking at, right? The steelbook is just a bonus. I didn't even know I was getting a steelbook. I thought I was getting the regular game, bro. But yeah, Last of Us Part 2 is easily, this is definitely my, I would probably say this is my favorite game of all time, to be completely honest. Like, it completely improves on the gameplay of Last of Us Part 1 by a mile, but the story. So the story is definitely going to be a make or break for anyone, because we're going to get into some spoilers, right? Joel dies. That was a big, like, bro, why'd you kill Joel? Why would you do that? I saw it. I feel like it was a given, bro. It still didn't hurt. It still hurt, bro. But I'm like, I feel like it's a given, right? I feel like it was going to happen, given how, like, what the marketing was doing, right? Even though they kind of tricked us a little bit. But yeah, Joel dies in like the first hour or so, and then you play as Abby, and you're not Abby, you're playing as Ellie, going on this revenge tale in Seattle, right? And then we do a complete 180, play as Abby for the other half of the game. And so I don't think a piece of media made me, this is what I always tell people, I don't think a piece of media has like shifted my perspective on something as much as Last of Us Part 2 did, right? Because like many people, you play as Ellie the first half, you're like, I hate Abby, I'm gonna find her, I'm gonna kill her friends, I'm gonna kill Abby. But then you switch the perspectives, you see why Abby killed Joel, you get the perspective there, and then you play as her, you're in her shoes, and you see all your friends dying, right? And you're like, I don't know, Ellie might not be as good as we think she is, bro. Because, I mean, it's pretty much just two sides of the same coin, right? Pretty much. And so it's just like, yeah, dude. I remember, because I vividly remember, I'm not gonna like harp on this for too long, but I vividly remember when I played it, right? I finished in like 4 days, right? And so I remember when I played it, you know, you're playing as Ellie, and you get to that pivotal moment, which the end of day 3, and then something happens, and it cuts to black. Right? Cuts to black, and then you switch to Abby's perspective. So it was like late at night when I got to that point, so I completely turned the game off because I'm like, I'm not doing this right now. I was kind of upset because I'm like, dang, I want to play as Abby, but then I start playing as Abby, bro, and you start getting into it, and it's like, bro, it's crazy. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me and like be like, no, this game is trash and all of that. I don't care. I love this game. This is probably my favorite game of all time. I played it a couple times at this point. I've got the platinum. I'm considering getting the remaster and get the platinum again there. Probably won't make a video on it because the platinum is very simple. They have a roguelite, like just a roguelite mode that I love roguelite, so I want to try this out. I love Last of Us Part 2. The show, different story, but I love The Last of Us Part 2. I do. Like, that's all. I'm not gonna harp on, because this and like Cyberpunk and like a few other games in here, I could go on and on about. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Last of Us Part 2. I still have the box, actually. So like the version I got, I still have the box because I feel like that's a collector's item in itself. But yeah, Last of Us Part 2. Love this game. Love it so much. Then we transition to, I don't know too much about this. The Dark Pictures anthology, A Little Hope. I remember when these were kind of making the wave back in like the late 2010s, early 2020s. I'm not like a huge horror game person, which is why I never got these to begin with. But I do have a couple from like the PS5 era. I also have Until Dawn, which is the same studio, and so I figured it'd be kind of cool. I want to do it this year, but life was life, and so I didn't get around to it. But I still do want to platinum all like the Dark Anthology games for like a Halloween series or something. I feel like that would be kind of cool. So maybe 2026 I do that, but yeah. Not too much. I just know there's like famous actors in here. So this one, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. He's blowing up right now. But it's like the guy with the eyebrows. That's really not like the best way to describe him anymore. But I feel like for a while, it's just the actor with eyebrows. That's what you always, I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about. If you look at the picture, you know who it is. The shrink wrap's on this. I got this last year, so yeah, forgive me for that. But yeah, that's him. That's Little Hope. Next we have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. I have a very interesting like history with the Tony Hawk franchise. My dad was really like my main catalyst for the Tony Hawk games. I remember we had the first one. I believe we had it on Nintendo 64 because that's how I remember playing it. And he when he had the 360, I remember they released, there was like the Pro Skater HD remaster that they dropped. A lot of people didn't like that, but again, I wasn't on the internet like that, so I didn't really know, like, you know, the discourse around it. I was just playing it, I was vibing with it, I had a fun time with it. But yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 is definitely like the, also like going back to like the 360 PS3 era, like the early Tony Hawk games I did play. Project 8 is like the first one I got for my PS3 that I can think of. And then going to PS4, I did get Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 for a little while because it was very cheap, but I didn't play much of it. And you can't play it anymore, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but you can't play it anymore. But yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 definitely put Tony Hawk games back on the map. Because after Pro Skater 5, the series went dormant until this. And so it was fun to picking this up and playing it. I've only played the first one. I never like got too heavy into it, so I never played the second one. But this one, kind of going back and forth because I do have some trophies in the PS4 version, but there also is the PS5 version, which I did buy or upgrade like a while ago. So it's kind of like, you know, do I finish the PS4 that I don't have like maybe like 10 trophies in or so, or do I just start anew and play the PS5, the better version, right? And so, yeah, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. I do remember I actually was pretty excited to get this. I pre-ordered it from GameStop, but it was during the COVID days, so I had them like ship it to my house. Had a long day at the pharmacy, came home, popped this in, enjoyed it, enjoyed every second of it. So yeah, definitely, especially with 3+4 coming out this last summer, I need to hop into this. Now we get to our slew of Lego games. So Lego games during the PS4 era, I kind of slept on. There was only maybe like a hand, like Lego Marvel. I talked about a little bit in the last video. That's probably the, at least for a while, that's the only one I really played heavy. After that, I kind of fell off because it was either for like IPs I didn't really care about, like The Hobbit. That was one that came out pretty early on. Lego Batman 3, I remember playing that. But it wasn't until like Lego Star Wars Force Awakens where it kind of rejuvenated a little bit, but even after that, I still like slept on them. But now that I'm going through this Lego series, I was getting them again. And so the one that I did get that I wasn't super familiar with was the Lego Ninjago movie video game, right? And so I wasn't a big Ninjago kid growing up. I've never seen like the cartoons or anything that was on Cartoon Network. I did get a couple of Lego sets, but that was about it, right? I don't know what it was. I just wasn't like, I had a lane when it came to Legos, and I just stuck with it. And that lane was pretty much Star Wars. That's literally all I consumed, was like just Lego Star Wars stuff. I was not really like into like Lego Marvel, Lego DC, Lego Ninjago, Lego Pirates, any of that really. It was just Lego Star Wars. And so I remember, well, it was last year when I got this, and I watched the movie for the first time. Pretty interesting watch, I will admit. I definitely, you know, I'm a big fan of the Lego movie, right? And so I thought this one was like, it was a nice little follow-up, not follow-up, but like, you know, along the lines of those Lego movies, like Lego Movie, Lego Batman, Lego Ninjago. And so, yeah, Lego Ninjago, this actually really surprised me like a lot, because it just kind of switches up the whole gameplay formula from Lego games that we remember, right, or expect. And I just really enjoyed that little shake-up. So I enjoyed this one a lot. I really did. So this is one that I did get. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is the next one. I originally got this on the Nintendo Switch, and I did play this for like a few hours. But I just figured, like, once I was getting to this Lego series, I would just get it again. Got it digital, no, I got physical, as you can see. I did get the season pass at some point, so we'll have all the content whenever I get around to it. But yeah, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. I mean, I was always a big fan of the first Lego Marvel Superheroes, so of course I like kept my eye out for this one. Didn't play too much of it on the Switch. I just remember, like, you know, Kang's the big bad in this, and you're going through different timelines and stuff. You know, this is before the whole multiverse thing that was going on with the MCU, and before Kang was like the big bad for a short time. But yeah, this one, I did play Lego Avengers. I'll talk about that later when I talk about the digital games. But yeah, this one I didn't play too much of, but I'm actually pretty excited to hop into this whenever I do get around to it with the Lego series. And then of course, like the only Lego game I 100%ed for the longest time was Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. I talked about this quite a bit on the PS3 video, but this one, I mean, I loved The Force Awakens at the time. I still do enjoy it. And of course I wanted like as much of the Force Awakens content as I could. So I pre-ordered this, got this one day one, finished in like 2 days. This one, some very interesting like additions to this. Like you have like a whole cover shooter mechanic going on here. You have like dog fights in a spaceship, which is really cool. Multi builds, which I don't know if this is the first game that did it, but I mean there are multiple Lego games that I'm gonna go on a limb and say this isn't the first one that did it, but yeah, there were definitely some new features that unfortunately were only exclusive to this, like that cover mechanic thing. I think it showed back up in the Skywalker Saga. It's been a while since I played that, so I can't quite remember. But yeah, Force Awakens, Lego Star Wars Force Awakens, an interesting game, especially now that the Skywalker Saga is out. But yeah, this is the only Lego game for a while that I had the platinum on. I played not a ton, but I did play quite a bit when I first got it. Like I said previously, I finished in like 2 days. I might have messed around with it a little bit, but it wasn't until I think like 2018 when I was going, like when I had like a little bit of a platinum phase. This is one of those games I just kind of cleaned up and finished then. And so yeah, Force Awakens, I enjoy this game and I'm excited to play it again on the PS3 actually, because I mean it's the same game, just you know, slightly lower resolution, so not really a biggie there. But yeah, I enjoy this game quite a bit. And so the last physical Lego game that I have is Lego Worlds. Don't know too much about this one. I just know essentially it's like Lego Minecraft pretty much. That's really all I can tell you. Again, I just got this because the whole Lego series thing, and yeah, I just know it's like Lego Minecraft pretty much. And so definitely gonna have to play this one to see. I know this one didn't really like sell that well, and so I'm very curious to see why that was, see how it holds up, see if it is pretty much Minecraft with Legos. I know like Fortnite has their own thing now, which I haven't played. I actually wouldn't mind checking out. It looks pretty cool. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, the one that started it all. So next we get into Life is Strange Before the Storm. I couldn't quite remember the subtitle there. This one, I got this one. Dang, when did I get this? It was definitely a Christmas. I want to say it was maybe like, it was 2018 because it was my senior year. I do remember that because I remember these episodes are long. Life is Strange episodes are super long, right? But I pre-ordered the limited edition, or not pre-ordered, I got the limited edition, which came with a bunch of content. Like if you look, I remember it came in a box, which I still have somewhere, but you got Before the Storm, you got some bonus content. If it'll focus, this is not really the best here. Let me see if I can get a focus. Yeah, so you got complete season, bonus episode, Life is Strange, episode 1 of season 1, an outfit pack, mixtape mode, an art book, and the soundtrack. This is the other one that came with a CD. The other game I have that comes with a CD with the songs on it, right? And so I do remember when I did open it up, I did go to my car, which at the time had the CD player, and played it for a little bit. But yeah, Before the Storm, this one just takes place before season 1 of Life is Strange, and you play as Chloe this time with her friend. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but nice little fun side story. I think it's only like 3 episodes, but they're super long, so it's really like, from my memory, like 6 to 7 hours to get through, and that's not even including if you're trying to do all the other stuff like getting collectibles and whatnot. And so longer episodes, a longer game, but definitely like something of quality, of course. I have the original, like the first Life is Strange digitally, but I've mentioned this in a couple other videos. I'm a Life is Strange sicko. I love these games. I haven't played Double Exposure yet. I did buy it not too long ago. I definitely want to check that out, but I'm a sicko for these games, and so I definitely enjoyed this at the time. It was nice just getting more backstory on Chloe, see how she got to the point that we saw her in when it came to season 1. So this was a nice addition. One of the most underrated games from the PS4 generation, in my opinion, Mad Max. I played this not too long ago for my platinum cleanup video, and even though I wasn't like doing anything story-wise, I still feel like it holds up very well. The driving is still fun. Exploring the desert wasteland is still fun. Combat is okay, you know, nothing crazy. It's definitely like copying the whole Arkham formula, but I don't feel like it's a bad thing necessarily. But yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record because I talk about this quite a bit in my platinum cleanup video, but this was like just one of those games I got for a sale at some point. I was sick my junior year. I hardly played any games. I hardly had any time, but I was sick for like a few days, and I just played like so much of this while I was sick, which is kind of odd because when I'm sick, like I don't want to do anything. I hardly play any games at all. Like I remember I got sick a couple months ago. I didn't want to do anything. I just laid in bed the whole time. But yeah, like back then, I'm like, this is the only chance I'm probably gonna have the game. So I took advantage of it. And so I poured so much time into this when I was sick, and then eventually finished it. And at the time, I had probably like 77% of the trophy list done. Luckily, I had one of those, like a couple of those multiplayer trophies that you needed online for, which has since like not, like you can't do it anymore, unfortunately. But luckily I did it at the time, so you know, just able to do everything else. I will say the whole 100% grind, it was a grind because you had to collect every single thing in this game, and there's a lot to collect. Like I'm pretty sure when I went back, I did it last year during Thanksgiving break, which for me was a week. I spent like 3 days doing it. I easily poured like another 15-20 hours into just doing that stuff. And so yeah, definitely that 100% grind is no joke. Like if you can still like get 100%, you definitely try to like, you know, do all that stuff while you can, whenever you can, so it's not as inconvenient doing it afterwards. A series I'm not super duper familiar with is the Mafia games. I have Mafia Definitive Edition, and I also have Mafia 3. I do have Mafia 2, but it's a digital version. Might consider shelling out some money and get a physical version. But yeah, I'm gonna do like a 2-in-1 because yeah, Mafia Definitive Edition, I got this in 2021 or I got this the same time I got Destroy All Humans. Played this for a little bit, didn't play too much of it, but I mean what I did play was interesting, like a different take on an open world game. I recently got Mafia the Old Country, so I have all the Mafia games, so at some point we probably need to do like a whole Mafia series, right? Just do all that. What I would like to do though, because I've been toying with this idea for a while, is so whenever I do play Mafia, I would like to play the original Mafia in this one, because I do feel like the original one, from what I've seen, is slightly different from the Definitive Edition. So because I mean the first Mafia is an older game, older PC game, so it'd be kind of nice to check that out and then check this one out. Same with Mafia 2, although Mafia 2 came out a little later, because that was on PS3 and Xbox 360. I do know that. And then Mafia 3, I have a bit more experience with. I played a little more of this one. I heard the story in this one's phenomenal, but just like everything else, like the open world stuff, not so much. I think that's really what's kind of held me back from really finishing or playing more of it, to be honest, is the open world stuff. But yeah, I mean, the story, people praise the story, and I'm definitely interested whenever I do get around to playing the Mafia games, experiencing the story in this one, because I hear it's nothing but fantastic. I teased this a little bit in my last video, but of course, Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition. I'm not going to harp on this one for too long because I talked about it a lot previously, but yeah, I had to get this one. I already have the Legendary Edition on PC, which I played extensively, but I figured, you know, why not double dip, get on PS4, get some trophies while we're at it, so I got it again. This one, I was just peeking inside. Oh, this one has 2 CDs. One's the data disc, of course, and the other one is the play disc. Pretty similar art, the CDs, and then you also get, let me hide that because I don't want none of y'all taking that from me. You get 20% off your next purchase on gear.bioware.com, which I've used once. I do have a Mass Effect shirt in there in my closet somewhere. This would have came in handy if I knew about it, but I wonder if I can still use it. But you get some controls. Not much to it. Dang it, never mind. It expired in 2021. So much for that, man. But yeah, there's not. I already like praised the Mass Effect series previously. Like, there's not much more I can say about Legendary Edition. I already played it extensively on PC. I'm gonna play extensively on this whenever I do play it. So there's Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and there's also Mass Effect Andromeda, the only like real PS4 Mass Effect game. Not really Mass Effect 4 because we're getting that hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, Andromeda, really interesting situation here. This is my second game that I got with my first job, and I played for quite a bit, right? I didn't finish it though, at least on PS4. I got it on Steam years later, and so after I finished it on, after I finished the Legendary Edition on PC, I naturally just played this one. I didn't find it as bad as people were making it out when it first came out, but I can definitely see why people consider it like the weakest Mass Effect game. I enjoyed my time with it on PC, but you know, there are some things that held it back, like some of the story decisions just don't make sense. The lore, I kind of wish they expanded on that a little more, because if there's anything, especially Mass Effect 1 did create an expansive universe, and so it just kind of felt, you know, this game takes place hundreds, I think maybe thousands of years, I'm pretty sure hundreds of years in a new galaxy, and we only get like 1 or 2 new alien species. Like, come on, man, we could have gotten way more than that. But Andromeda got some trophies in this one, and so there are multiplayer. There's not like multiplayer mode like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, but there is like some like co-op stuff. I'm pretty sure you can still mess around with that. And so yeah, Mass Effect, just whenever I decide to go on a Mass Effect series, like I said, I want the channel to get a little bigger before I decide to jump on Mass Effect. But yeah, once I do, you can expect platinums. You can expect platinums for the PS3 version, the Legendary Edition, and Andromeda. That is a fact. All right, and then we get to like a weirder game for me to get on PS4. That's Metro Redux. I got this back in like 2014 when I was kind of just experimenting with games to get on PS4. I did not play too much of this. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't play too much of it. I didn't really like vibe with that at the time. But I remember when Metro Exodus came out sometime like 2018, 2019, 2017, one of those years. I decided to pick this up again and give it another shot. And so I played this like late 2019, early 2020, and I really vibed with it then. I don't know what was like different that time, but I was really vibing with it. I really liked it when I played it that second time around. Finished both 2033 and Last Light. I just never got around to playing Exodus, but I think before I do that, I would like to go back and platinum these games, because I know I have quite a few trophies in both of these. And so it'd be nice to get the platinums for these, and then, you know, jump into Exodus and play that. And so yeah, that's really my like history with it. What was the second one's Last Light. Last Light is an interesting one, I will say. That's an interesting game compared to 2033. But both of them I enjoy both of these games. Easily like a terrible game to everyone, probably their childhoods. That's Minecraft, the PS4 edition. And so I remember Minecraft was blowing up for a while, right? Especially like on 360, PS3, PC, of course, Vita for a while. And so 2014, this is the same time I got DMC. I was just getting a bunch of games, and Minecraft was one. I heard about this, so I'm like, I want to see what the hype's about. Brother, this game took over my life for like 2 years straight. I remember, bro, I was playing this game so much, like my freshman year of high school, that summer going into freshman year. And so every now and then, like I didn't, after that like phase I had for like 2 years, I didn't play it again until like 2020 when my group of friends, like it was COVID, of course, my group of friends, we were really getting into it heavy. We have a world, we still have it up, you hop in every now and then, and like, dude, Minecraft is just freaking Minecraft, bro. This is juggernaut for gaming. I think it's still one of the most sold games ever. I think it's number one there. I could be, I have to like look at the facts, but I mean, everyone's played Minecraft. Everyone knows of Minecraft. I love Minecraft. My sister, she's playing Minecraft with her friends on her computer. We hop into this we hop into our world that it's on my profile. So we hop into it every now and then. Pretty cool world, if you ask me. Yeah, like 2020, like, dude, those COVID days, bro, forget it. Like, we were sinking hours into this game at a time every day of the week for like a good, the whole 2-week Minecraft phase you get. This easily lasts like a month or two when we were playing it. I remember they had the Mandalorian was popping off. They had a Mandalorian world. There's a lot of like many things that you can get now. I saw one recently for Tron Ares, which was really cool. I mean, yeah, like there's not a lot I can say about Minecraft again that hasn't been said already. This is just a very like pivotal game for me early on to the PS4 generation, and even still, like, we hop into this to this day. And so I don't play as much like I used to back in the day, like when I first got it, but still, this is a fantastic, like, Minecraft is just a very fantastic video game. And I watched the movie this year too. Pretty fun. I know it's off topic, but pretty fun movie. I'd recommend it if you like Minecraft. Mirror's Edge Catalyst will be the next game to talk about. I got this back in, I don't know, 2017. This came out, I believe, 2016. Didn't really do great review-wise, and I played on and off for a while. I just never super got into it. I never finished the first Mirror's Edge, which is probably a reason why. But I do remember back in, I think it was 2023, the multiplayer servers were getting shut down for this. And there's like 2 multiplayer trophies for this. And like the day before it shut down, I remember getting them. So the platinum for me is still attainable. Hopefully it's still obtainable for some of you out there if you did the multiplayer stuff. But that is something to keep in mind. It says like there's 2 trophies you can't get anymore. But yeah, whenever I get around to playing Mirror's Edge, this is just like a natural like follow-up to that. And yeah, I know the parkour in the game is really good. And I imagine naturally the parkour is also pretty good here. They just expand on it. So I'm going back to Borderlands. Where's the disc? I just realized the disc is not in here. Where is it? But yeah, going back to Borderlands, we have new Tales from the Borderlands. I guess like 2K and Gearbox's version of a Telltale Borderlands game. I only played through the first episode of this. I know a lot of people don't like this one as much as the Telltale version, of course, because it's not Telltale. But yeah, the reason I stopped playing, I just had too many games to play at this point. I was hopping back and forth between multiple games, so I just never like found the time to sit back down and finish this. But would definitely like to do so. Just I guess see if it's good or not. Because again, I'm just kind of going off that first episode. It was all right, nothing too crazy. And so yeah, just see how they adapt the Telltale formula into the whole game. I don't know how many episodes are in this. Again, I've only played 1, so we'll just have to wait and see. Oh man, do I have an interesting tale about Nier Automata. So I had no knowledge of the Nier franchise before this. I know there's a game on PS3 just titled Nier. That's pretty much it. And so this one came out in 2017. Yeah, 2017. Didn't get it till like a year later. The reason I got it, I don't remember how. I just remember looking through something on PlayStation, and then I saw this game. The box art at the time interested me. Nothing too crazy on the box art, right? Yeah, y'all are gonna judge me so hard for this, but the reason I got this, I saw some yams, bro. I saw some yams on 2B. I bought it. I secured the bag, bro. And to be 100% honest, this game is actually like really good. Like really good. And so like this is crazy. Like when you think about how I got this game, and just it ended up being like a very like pivotal piece of media, if you think about it, is insane. Like yes, I went in originally because of the yams and whatnot on 2B, but like when you actually like play it and you get the like you experience the combat, you get like play through the story, you play through some endings, crazy. crazy, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just a weird way to start off, right? When I'm talking about the game, but it's like once you play it, dude, it's actually like really. This is really good. Like, I need to go back because there's like, I don't know, like 20 something endings, I think, give or take. And like I've only done maybe like a couple. I've only done a few. I'm on like, this is years ago when I played it, but I'm on like a playthrough with 9S, and I think there's another one. I don't remember her name right here with the sword, but you play as her, I think. I can't remember, but I definitely need to go back and you know, get more trophies on this. I will admit, again, just while we're on the topic, I'm like, how much of a gooner I am. Y'all are still gonna judge me so hard. There's a trophy in here. I think you have to look up 2B skirt like 10 times. It wasn't an accident, bro. I did it on purpose. That's how much of a gooner I was back in like 2018, dude. It was bad. And so, but anyway, ending this on a high note. Nier Automata is like a fantastic video game. Definitely want to go back. Definitely want to go get the platinum for this at some point. And it's really because of Automata. Like a lot of people love those games. It's definitely put the Nier series on my radar. And following that, I got Nier Replicant. I don't think this has, I could be wrong, this might have a PS5 version, but I just went with the PS4 version. As you can see, it was on sale for like $35. And very interesting. I do think this is a something of the original Nier game. I think, I don't know for sure. Yeah, I'm looking at the back of the box. It does say the origins of Nier masterfully upgraded. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know too much about the original Nier game to like really say if this is like the same story or not. I do remember, this is really just more so a me thing. The character, like the main character, like his design just wasn't doing it for me. I don't mind, like, I don't know, like 9S, don't get me wrong, 9S, his fit is hard. But yeah, I don't know, the main guy just wasn't really doing it for me. But gotta play again. Gotta play. I never got too far into this one, but yeah, definitely gotta check this one out for sure. Next up, we have Neo, another one of those Souls games that I just haven't really gotten super duper into. There's two of these games. I have this one, I have the second one. I think I got it for free on PlayStation Plus, and they are making a third one, which is, I think, is supposed to come out next year. I don't know, I guess we gotta check them out at some point. Team Ninja, along with Koei Tecmo, they made these games. I believe it's PlayStation exclusive. I don't know for sure. I really don't. I don't keep up with this franchise like that. But yeah, I guess, you know, something to check out someday, whenever I get around to it. I played a little bit. I got past the first boss. That's about it. We then have the Order 1886. Very interesting game here. I remember when this first came out, lambasted because it's a short game. It's pretty much like, from what people say, it's like a 6-hour tech demo because it looks fantastic, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's a short ass video game. You can finish, it's like $60. You can finish it in a day pretty much if you're dedicated. But I got this like years after for maybe 10 bucks, which I'm pretty like, honestly, like at most, I'm pretty sure if it wasn't a full price game, this may have done better review wise. Because yeah, $60 for like the amount of like time you're spending here is really egregious. But for me, like the most I would say, if it were to come out today, the most I feel like you should drop it for is 30, 35 max, right? But I got this for 10. And so I didn't really like have many issues with it when you're paying only $10 for the game. And so I enjoyed it for the time, at the time when I did play it. I mean, it's a short game. Again, it's like 6 hours. I finished it in a few days, and a part of me does wish things panned out better, because they do have a whole like sequel bait at the end, right? And yeah, I just, you know, the gameplay's fine. You know, it's nothing revolutionary, but it's serviceable. It does help you, you know, get you through the game. But I definitely, the story's like the main draw to this, and I think it's fine. I do think it's good. It's just it's too short. That's the main thing, especially when you paid like full price. Yeah, it's just too short. But when you're only paying $10, it ain't that bad. Need to go back, need to get the platinum for this because it's actually really short. If I do a platinum cleanup this year, this is definitely gonna be one of those games I do get around to because I don't have that many trophies left. And again, it's a short game, so I can knock it out pretty quickly. But moving on, we now have the Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds 2 released not too long ago, and so definitely want to give this a try pretty soon. I played this back in 2019. I got it for Christmas in 2019. Played it for a few hours. I remember this was like the first RPG where I'm like, I'm not necessarily gonna go down like a good path or a bad path. I'm just gonna go like where my mind takes me. If I find this to be the decision I want to make, I'm gonna take it, and whatever consequences that leads to, that's just how it works. Whenever I do play it, that's what I still want like my mindset to be like focused on that. Like just truly play it as like an RPG, like RPG. Like if I want to do this, I'm gonna do that. If I want to do that, even if it's like against my morals or something, I'm gonna do that. And so that's how I treated the Outer Worlds. I only played this for like a few hours or so. This is another one I traded in when I got my PC, but of course got it again. I just got the season pass for this because again, I want to play this pretty soon. So I feel like that was like a incentive to, you know, get it soon because I got the season pass. It was on sale, so it was pretty cheap. But yeah, Outer Worlds. I feel like this one was like okay or good review wise, and like the same pretty much can be said for Outer Worlds 2. So that's that. Next, we have another cross-gen title, Outriders. I remember like hearing like things about this game. It's basically a looter shooter, and sometimes like, I remember like back in like maybe March or something, I was really just in the mood for a looter shooter, and so I started this up for like a little bit. Didn't play too much of it, but I really would like to because again, I am still like in a looter shooter mindset, and so I feel like it would just kind of be nice to, you know, dive in and play something like that. And I mean, yeah, I got the whole thing. So we got all the expansions, DLC, all that. And of course I got the PS5 version, but I got the PS4 case. So I'm just, you know, talking about it here, but I'm definitely playing the PS5 version. Oh boy, this is probably the most I've ever spent in a multiplayer game time-wise, and that would be Overwatch. I remember one summer day in 2016, my dad took me to GameStop and he's like, do you want Overwatch or do you want whatever other game had just come out that year? And I'm like, you know what? I want Overwatch. Because I remember I played the beta. I played the beta for Overwatch, and I really enjoyed what I played. I had a fun time. And you know, multiplayer games aren't really like my big draw nowadays, right? I'm more into like the single player stuff, but for my high school, I was always down to play multiplayer stuff. Even if I wasn't talking to anybody, I was always in for a good multiplayer game. But yeah, Overwatch, like, eventually I did play with friends and stuff from school. But yeah, Overwatch is like probably, I mean, it took over pop culture for a long time, really. Like, you see Tracer in movies like Ready Player One. I remember she was in that. You got a bunch of like, I remember my junior year, I had an Overwatch backpack because that's when like Overwatch was still popping off. Still dropping new characters and everything. Like, this, I was in this, what's the word I'm looking for? Not economy, but I can't think of the word right now. The ecosystem, that's not, I don't know. I just know every event that they were doing. So like I hopped in when they were doing the Olympic stuff because that was, you know, Olympics was that year too. So that's when I hopped in, was for the Olympic stuff. And then I hopped in for Halloween, for Christmas. There was like a PvE event they had that next year. Like I was in it, bro. I was in this game heavy. I freaking love Overwatch. I have a few Funko Pops over there on my ceiling. It's kind of hard to see, but like I have Junkrat. I really have the characters I mained a lot. So Junkrat was my main for, I think for a while he was defense, but they kind of shifted some things around. But he was my main there. We have Hanzo, we have Reaper, and then McCree before they changed his name. I don't know what it is now, but yeah, Overwatch, dude. So like, even like it was so big. Like I was talking to it with like friends at school. We would watch videos about it during like class on the computers and whatnot. Like I mess with this game heavy, and it sucks that you can't play this version anymore because they upgraded to Overwatch 2. but still, it doesn't take away the, like, I'm still gonna hold on to this forever, because it's not like I'm gonna get any money from this anyway. But yeah, just like thinking about all the memories and just all the fun times I had with this, you can't really beat that. You can't. Like, I don't think any, other than like, I play Fortnite with my friends nowadays, but even before, like, I don't think any multiplayer game has like lived up to, like, at least to me, like, no multiplayer game to me has like kind of lived up to the hype that Overwatch was. Like, Overwatch, I was invested in Overwatch for a few years. And so, yeah, dude, I really, I love Overwatch. I really do. A couple weirder titles. So, not really weird, but like weird for me. But we have Persona 5 Royale. I did have Persona 5, like the original Persona 5 for a while, but I figured Royale has everything, so I just get that one instead. I'm not super into, not into, but I've never like played a Persona game. I played like maybe a little bit of Persona 5. That's about it. My only real experience with Atlas games came from Catherine, which I really enjoyed. So I have a feeling I would enjoy the Persona games. I just know they're beefy games. Like, I played through a Persona 5, 100 hours, easy. And it's like, when am I gonna have the time to invest that much into a game? But again, Atlas really changed, like, Catherine really put Atlas on my radar, and it'd be kind of nice to just experience, like, and see what all the hype is with the Persona games. So yeah, I'm really trying to get into it. I got this one a few years ago, but I did get Persona 3 Reload not too long ago because it was on sale for like 20 bucks. And then of course, I want to get Metaphor ReFantazio because that was a really big game that came out last year. And so yeah, Atlas games, I really do want to pay attention to. This last one, I'm going to keep this one very brief because it's not really a game. It's a demo disc, which is a lost thing you see nowadays, but it's for PlayStation VR. Back in 2019, I did get a PlayStation VR headset. I'm pretty sure the bundle I had came with this. And so I've held on to it pretty much since, even though like there's not much. Like, I pretty much played most of the games that are on this demo disc. So I'm gonna get it real focused in on there, feel focused. But yeah, Astrobot Rescue Mission. I did not play Thumper. Did not play Battlezone. Moss I played. Headmaster, I'm not super familiar with that. Persistence, no. I did play Job Simulator and Super Hot. Super Hot, I really got into Super Hot. That was really fun. But yeah, PlayStation VR, I don't have, well, I sold it after like a few months because as you can see, my room is really cluttered right now with just a bunch of stuff, and I didn't really have the space for VR. Like, I didn't want to risk like punching a hole in the wall or something if I got really into it. But I do have like so the job I was at before, it was out of school, and I remember one day just kind of like looking for something. I found she had like a bunch of librarian had a bunch of consoles, and the PlayStation VR headset was one of those things. I'm like, are you gonna use any of this? She said no, so I took it all. And so I do have the headset again. That's all I have though. I don't have any like controllers or such. So yeah, that's kind of I just briefly wanted to throw this in there. All right, we are slowly whittling things down, going on to the R's. First game is Rage 2. I talked about Rage a little bit in my last video. Played through the first game all the way. Got this one. I think I rented it from Redbox first before I actually bought the full game. And then I sold it, of course, when I got my PC, and then bought it again. Only like $4.50 from Second and Charles, which wasn't too bad, you know. Won't complain about that. Didn't play too much of Rage 2, but I mean, from what I did play, the gameplay was like really smooth, really fun. And so yeah, at some point I'm gonna revisit the Rage games and give this one a fair shake. Next up is Rainbow Six Siege, another multiplayer game that I played very heavily with buddies of mine. They actually, when I first started hanging out with the friends I still play games with now, they convinced me to get Rainbow Six Siege, and they were actually impressed by how good I was in the beginning. Cause yeah, this is a very competitive game, and so back then, so like, not all of the people I played with then I still play with now, but we had like a full, like, I think the most you can have is 5 or 6 people, we'd have a full squad, easy. And so it was definitely nice just playing with them. Yeah, 5 versus 5. It was nice being able to play with them and just, you know, get the ropes, get the hang of the game, figure out what operators I liked. And I haven't played a lot since. I know there's a PS5 version that I messed around with for a little bit, but yeah, I haven't really played too much of this like since those like COVID days, pretty much. We started playing before COVID, but COVID's really when we played a lot. And so yeah, after like COVID, those days, I haven't really played too much of Siege. I know it's changed like quite a bit, but that's about all I know. But yeah, for the time, I had like a really fun time playing this with friends. You know, it's just always fun just going about this a little differently. You know, you have to be real like tactical, pretty much. It was like my first real tactical shooter. And so I know for sure, if this was single player, my dad would eat this up. I know that for a fact. But yeah, I don't know, like multiplayer, just be a multiplayer, he probably wouldn't play as much. But yeah, I had for the time that I did play it, I had a fun time. Then we move on to Ratchet and Clank. This is based off of the 2016 movie, which is also based off the first Ratchet and Clank video game. As you can see on the back of the box, the game based on the movie, based on the game. I remember back in like 2021 when Rift Apart was coming out, I did replay this. This was back when I was doing retrospectives, but I also did get the platinum for it because I didn't have much left. I wish I still had that video. I deleted it. Like, this was before this channel. I deleted it, but I wish I didn't because I don't know. I always like to look back on those videos, my early days, because I only have, out of all the ones I did back then, there's only like 2 that I don't have. This is one of them, and then Psychonauts is another. I'll talk about that in the digital side of things. But yeah, Ratchet and Clank, you know, this is really my introduction to the Ratchet and Clank franchise. This is aside from this and Rift Apart, these are the only 2 Ratchet and Clank games that I have played. And so I, you know, don't really know what to make of it, just because I haven't played the other Ratchet and Clank games. But I mean, I find it fun. You know, there are like clips from the movie, so you definitely know this is a movie tie-in game, number 1. But which is also something you don't really see a lot in movie tie-in games to begin with, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, this is definitely like, you know, I'm pretty sure if I were to go back and play through like the original Ratchet and Clank and then play this, who knows what my opinions would be on this one. But I mean, for the most part, I enjoy this. You know, it looks fantastic. Like, even still, like, I think 10 years or yeah, almost 10 years later, this still looks really good, to be honest. Like, I mean, it's almost Pixar quality. Like, I know a lot of people say that for Rift Apart, but this is like damn near Pixar quality when it comes to the game. Can't say the same for the movie, but the game, at least, it still holds up. It still looks really, like, even gameplay wise, it still holds up really well. And so yeah, I really enjoy Ratchet and Clank. Moving on to Red Dead Redemption. I do have this on PS3. I think I did talk about it in the last video, but I'm just like, if I can't, because again, platinum wise, I'm like, if I can, I'd rather go for this since it doesn't have multiplayer. I don't have to stress myself out about that one or that aspect of it. And funny enough, it'll probably be out by the time I post this video, but this is also getting a PS5 like upgrade. It's coming to Netflix, which I think is like the big thing that they're touting, but it also is getting upgrades on PS5 and like the Series X, and see, I think it's free since I have this one, but of course if you don't, it's like 30 bucks, which I mean still isn't really that bad for what, like a almost 15-year-old game, give or take. I know, I mean, there's always arguments it can go lower, but I don't think it's really that bad, especially since you're getting the game and the Undead Nightmare expansion, which I haven't played. Actually, I haven't played the Undead Nightmare. I played the story of Red Dead Redemption, and so definitely would like to play this again on PS4, eventually PS5. And then I don't have it with me. My sister actually has it, but Red Dead Redemption 2, I did get that. That was a birthday gift I got back in 2018. I remember getting that one, not necessarily, well, no, I did get day one. And again, there's really not much I can say that hasn't been said already about Red Dead Redemption 2. It is just a phenomenal video game. I remember, so when I first got it, just because I didn't really have much time, I didn't play too much of it, but like come Christmas time, when things were winding down with school, I started playing it very heavily. Christmas, just like Christmas break, that's pretty much all I played. Again, I would get a bunch of games during Christmas that year, but Red Dead Redemption 2 was like the main thing that I played. And then come like January, mid-January, I finished it, and I felt like I didn't play anything else for a week. One, because I was sick, but then two, it's just like nothing else can really top this experience right now. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is another one of those games that's easily in my top 10 games of all time. And it's just like, there are definitely arguments out there that's too slow and whatnot, but I did not, like, I enjoyed that aspect of it a lot, actually. Sometimes it was just nice to just chill around camp, talk to my people, fish, just the random stuff like that. And so, yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely it's a fun, I enjoyed that game so much. Definitely a major improvement over the first game, even though the first one is also really good in its own right. Like, yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, freaking fantastic. Another game, very convenient that these fall back to back. Another game that I don't have with me, but my sister has, is Resident Evil 2. Funny enough, I got Resident Evil 2, I think the same day that I finished Red Dead Redemption 2, but again, I didn't play it for like a week because I, one, was again sick, and then two, I didn't want to play anything else because I had that post-game depression. And so, Red Dead Redemption 2, I had played, not Red Dead Redemption, Resident Evil 2, I had played other Resident Evil games, you know, before. I think my first one really was Resident Evil 5. I remember my dad randomly got that. Resident Evil 7. I don't have it with me, unfortunately, but I did get that for my PS4. I remember that. That was like my real introduction to the Resident Evil franchise. But it was nice being able to like play the remake of Resident Evil 2, because again, I never played any of the Resident Evil games before, so I felt like this was a nice way to like see, you know, where it all not really began, but where I would say it took off. I would at some point one day like to play the originals, of course, just to see and like compare like what the remake does versus how the original did things. But I mean, Resident Evil 2 really was like a fantastic remake. First of all, a really great game to play. And then of course, building off that, I got Resident Evil 3. A lot of people, I think of all the modern Resident Evil remakes or just Resident Evil games, a lot of people say this is the weakest one. I think just because this is probably the shortest Resident Evil game to get or to play. It doesn't take you that long to finish. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's still a fine game. I enjoy it. I believe this, along with 2, do have PS5 versions. I can't remember how, I know at first I played on PS4, obviously, but I can't remember if I eventually upgraded to the PS5 version. I'd have to go through my my trophy list and check. But this is definitely one, you know, someday I would like to do a Resident Evil series, Platinum as well, or just maybe retrospective. I don't really know. There's a lot of games to do retrospectives on, so if I were to go that route. But yeah, Resident Evil 3, I feel like it's, you know, a fine continuation of Resident Evil 2. So there's that. And then I actually got this one before both of those remakes, but I never played it until a couple years ago, which is Resident Evil 4. The original Resident Evil 4. There's a lot you can say about Resident Evil 4. Definitely one of the most, I think this one really shifted Resident Evil as a franchise pretty much, because before, all the Resident Evil games were like fixed camera, you're going down hallways, tank controls, right? But this is the first one that really was like a third person video game, you know what I mean? And so I definitely think I didn't really understand its importance until, again, recently when I played it. I played it in like 2023. This is a few months after the remake had come out. I remember I had on my, I have the PS4 version, but I had on my, because this version doesn't have the platinum, unfortunately, but I don't know. A part of me might go and get this, like the trophies for this one day, maybe. I did play it on Switch. That's how I played it. This is when I was working the job I was at before. I had a lot of downtime, so I brought my Switch to work, and I'd play it whenever, like pretty much, for a while, I'd pretty much play it all day, because I just had free time. And so that's how I played it. And then once I finished, I'm like, yeah, I understand why people fuck with this game heavy. Like, it's so good. And the remake just like is, it's just like way better, you know what I mean? And so that's my history of Resident Evil 4. Funny enough, just not on PlayStation, but mostly on Switch. Although, you know, maybe one day I will go back, play the PS4 version, see what kind of trophies I can get. Now that I know what I'm doing, pretty much. And let's round out the PS5 or the Resident Evil games I have physically. I do need to get more, but Resident Evil 5, this is the one that's set in Africa. Again, this is my first Resident Evil game. My dad got this one. Funny enough, my friend, he worked at Second and Charles for a while, so he was always like asking, like, do you want this, do you want that, you want this? And this is one of those games. I'm like, you know what, sure, I'll take it. Only $13. And so he held it for me, and then I eventually got it. I haven't played it, but I only play, like, the only time I did play it was like that time when I was a kid. And yeah, not really too much I can say. I know the AI, a lot of people say the AI is like not that great for your other companion. I don't remember her name. It's, you know, the woman next to, I think that's Chris. So yeah, this is like the one game I've seen like online, people saying you can't remake this one because it's set in Africa. So, you know, you're mostly killing black people in this. I haven't played it, so I can't really put an opinion out there, but I don't know what to make of that, to be honest. If they remade it, I just feel like it would be a natural progression, you know what I mean? But I don't want to say too much on that because I don't know what I'm talking about. So let's just move on to Riders Republic, another cross-gen game that I'm most likely going to play the PS5 version of. Got this when I was, you know, starting out into getting platinums very seriously, and it's just one of those games I got. I don't know too much about it. I just know you can ride different things, like a bike, you can ride, or yeah, a motorcycle, snowboard, a regular bike. I'm pretty sure you can do a skateboard in here. You can do like a wingsuit, so just multiple things you can mess around with. I mean, yeah, it's multiplayer, but you know, I'm not really gonna mess around with that, I guess, too much. I don't know, it is an online game, so I definitely got to get those trophies sooner rather than later, but this is just one of those games I got because of that. Getting into the Saints Row, the only one I have for PS4 is Saints Row the 3rd Remastered, of course, but this one I didn't play on PS4, I played the PS5 version, but nevertheless, we have the PS4 case. And I mean, this is just Saints Row the 3rd, but prettier, better graphics, higher frame rates. That's, I mean, yeah, all the DLC. Yeah, dude, I mean, I've talked about Saints Row plenty on the channel, so if you want to hear my opinions, you can. But yeah, this one I also got when I got Destroy All Humans and whatever else I just mentioned. So I just, you know, I remember playing this for like a little bit, but not getting super into it until I got into the Saints Row series back in 2023. And so yeah, there's that, the full package, remastered, like it says on the back of the box. So Saints Row the 3rd, and then we get to a very, very, very good video game, Shadow of the Colossus. This is the remaster / remake of the PS2 version, but I did talk about this in the last video because I also had the PS3 version that they released. And so this is my introduction to the Shadow in like the Ico games, the Team Ico universe. I don't really know if there's a universe there, but this is my introduction to it, and this was a phenomenal video game. Like once I played it, I understood why people defend this game with their lives, or like why people consider this one of their best games of all times, because this is such a fantastic video game. I remember this was also my junior year of high school, but it was like like it came out 2017. No. Was it? No. It would be sophomore. No. Dang, when did I play this? I know I got this day one. I guess it had to have been sophomore. It may, no. It was late 2017, I think. So I was definitely junior year when I played this. But yeah, it was just a very nice structure. Like I would take on one Colossus a night for a few nights, and then eventually, once I got into it, I would just start like, you know, ramping things up, taking them on, and just like, once you like get into the story, get deep into it, it's just like, damn, this is crazy. But yeah, Shadow of Colossus, a fantastic, phenomenal video game. I would love to go back and get the platinum for this one. I would love to go back and play it on PS3. And of course, play the other games that this studio has made, because they also made Ico, they made The Last Guardian, and apparently they're making something else. I think it was teased last year at the Game Awards. And so, yeah, dude, Shadow of Colossus, freaking phenomenal game. Then we get to Shadow of Mordor. A birthday gift for when I turned 14. I remember that because I remember I mentioned this in my Mordor video. I saw the review for this from IGN. I think they gave it like a 9.2. And I'm like, yep, this is what I want for my birthday. I knew absolutely nothing about the Tolkien, Lord of the Rings universe, but I'm like, I want this because it looks cool. And so played it heavy back in 2014. And then I got it again on PS4, I don't remember when. And so I remember for the 10-year anniversary, I wanted to do something for the channel. I got it on Xbox. I'm like, I'm going to do an Xbox and PS4 video on this. I only did Xbox because it was a long game and my achievements were bugged. That probably wouldn't have been an issue on PS4, but yeah, I definitely need to go back and get the platinum for this one because again, I played through the story, got a good amount of miscellaneous trophies, and so it's really just clean up from this point. So maybe if I do the cleanup video this year, I'll include this in there. It just kind of depends because my save file is no longer there, so I'd have to play from the beginning, which I'll be honest, I kind of don't want to do. But hey man, if I want the platinum, I gotta do what I gotta do. So Shadow of Mordor. Really love this game. The Nemesis system, I can go on about the Nemesis system, but just a very probably one of the most innovative mechanics that we got in the 2010s from gaming. Too bad it's been patented and the studio Monolith has been shut down. So who knows if we'll ever see it again until the patent expires, which is like not for another decade. But still, Shadow of Mordor, freaking fantastic game. I love Shadow of Mordor. The same can kind of be said for Shadow of War. This was a birthday gift I got when I was 17. So yeah, I definitely got the Shadow games on birthdays. But yeah, this one was also interesting because it was kind of rife in controversy because it had microtransactions. This was back when microtransactions were like the hot topic in gaming, in a negative way, obviously. And so I remember like that was a big thing. I played it, so when I first got it, again, junior year, didn't have a lot of time to play video games, and so I didn't play too much of it when I first got it. I remember getting it, I want to say maybe like a few weeks before I got the PS4 Pro. So I remember when I did get that, I did do the PS4 Pro stuff. There's like 4K textures you can download and stuff like that. So I did play that, and then I eventually played it my senior year because, again, we had bad weather, so we were out of school for a few days. And I was like, I saw this, I'm like, I kind of want to play it. And I eventually got the platinum too. I think they got rid of most of like the microtransaction stuff and like all the tedious grind endgame stuff. So the platinum, from what I remember, wasn't terrible. It did take me a while to do, but it wasn't as bad as I remembered it being. Pretty sure if I did it, because I got it again on Xbox, if I played it again there, I'll probably see like, you know, how bad it was or whatever. But yeah, Shadow of War, interesting game. You know, last game from Monolith before they got shut down, sadly, but still, I think it was probably a high note. You know what I mean? It was still a good game for the most part. It's just all the microtransaction stuff really just hindered it. This I believe is a cross-gen title, but the version, so I still have it in the box. It shows how much I played it, but we have Sifu Vengeance Edition. This one came out, when did this come out? I don't know, but it was definitely in 2022. That's when it came out. But yeah, Vengeance Edition. So it came in a fancy sleeve. It's in a box too. I'm gonna pop that out real quick. There's some art cards. Hold on. So yeah, just some nice little cards here. You know, art for the game. It also does come with an art book, which is kind of neat. Makes sense given how good this game looks. And then steelbook case, because why not, man? Look at my reflection in that steelbook case. Comes with the Sound of Sifu, which is the soundtrack for the game. I don't believe this code is expired. And then of course the game. But I do believe, because I did mess around with this a little bit when I first got it, I think it is a cross-gen title. I just can't quite remember. I'd have to go through my trophy list to confirm that. But yeah, I heard like a lot of great things about Sifu when it came out. Combat looked great. I was like into the Arkham, that's when I was really getting into Arkham games at that time. And so the combat, I was really still honestly looking for a game that has a very smooth combat like this one. And I'm always hearing people talk about this, like praising this game. So I definitely have to check it out sooner rather than later. Uh, this is gonna be a weird one. Skyrim. Just because I played Skyrim on multiple consoles multiple times, but I've never finished it. I've never gotten more than like 20 hours into Skyrim. So I came out when I was 11, and I just, again, wasn't like super deep into RPGs. I'm not super deep into like fantasy RPGs either, to be honest. But yeah, I remember Skyrim came out, was not on the internet, so I don't know like well, now in hindsight I know the cultural impact, because I mean people still talk about Skyrim, they're still releasing Skyrim. But I like the first time I played Skyrim, I'm pretty sure I bought it. It was on sale for the PS3, but I found out the PS3 version is like the worst way to play it, because like if you play long enough, your save file gets humongous and the game starts to lag. So I didn't play much of it there. And then I eventually got it on my Nintendo Switch, which is where I played the most of it. That's where I'm pretty sure I poured like 20 hours. This is my Switch playthrough. And then I eventually got it for VR, which is a very interesting way to experience it. And then just the native PS4 version. There is a PS5 like upgrade, which I'm probably gonna do. It was cheaper to get this anyway. So I'm most likely going to go down that route. But yeah, my Skyrim is just a game I've seen like many people talk about. My friend absolutely loves Skyrim. I think that's like his favorite game of all time. He's always telling me to play it. But yeah, it's just I just need to find the time to dedicate to Skyrim. That's the thing. Because if I'm playing Skyrim, that's the only thing I want to play is Skyrim. Just because I mean RPG, like that's RPGs in general. If I'm playing an RPG, I just want to play this RPG. That's it. And so yeah, I just need to find some time to just hop into good old Skyrim, because I played it multiple times, multiple consoles, just never got super heavy into it. Sleeping Dogs, I do not have the case, unfortunately. I just have the CD and a sleeve. I've heard nothing but good things about Sleeping Dogs as well. It came out on PS3 originally, but then got a definitive edition on the PS4, obviously. And again, hear nothing but good things about it. I think it's based off of the true crime games that came out on the PS2, and I watched a little bit of like some videos. I believe this was supposed to be a true crime, like a third game in that. I don't remember exactly what happened, but that eventually led to just Sleeping Dogs coming out. And if I'm correct, I don't think the studio that made it is still around anymore, so there's probably not a high chance that we'll get the second one, but you never know. You never know what goes on in the gaming world. Very pivotal game to me in 2018 was Spider-Man, of course. I mean, come on, bro. Spider-Man is easily my favorite superhero. We hadn't had a good Spider-Man game in years at this point. I think the last one that came out before this was Amazing Spider-Man 2. And so, which I talked about last video, I enjoyed it, but you know, looking back, it's not the greatest Spider-Man game. This one completely changed everything. Insomniac, I mean, I think this led to them being bought by PlayStation, because they had a weird history. You know, they had the Ratchet and Clank games, of course. They had Resistance. They also had Sunset Overdrive, which was an Xbox One exclusive. But this, I think, really like put Insomniac not necessarily on the map, but really put in the eyes of like a lot of people, because even casual players could play Spider-Man, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people, this might have been their first platinum as well, because it's also like really easy to do, also like encouraged to do, because I mean, it's just very like easy and fun to do everything in the world, right? And so yeah, Spider-Man, I had all like known about Insomniac, but I think this really just put the studio on map for everyone. This was one that came in my senior year of high school. I played it for, I mean, I had more time senior year to play games, so I finished it, platinumed in like a month or so. And of course they dropped DLC. I played that like the summer after that this came out. And I mean, yeah, again, not much I can say about Spider-Man that hasn't already been said. I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2018. So this was another game I revisited because they have a PS5 version. Revisited before Spider-Man 2 came out, and I actually was playing like normally, like I wasn't doing the auto pop or anything. But I don't know, something about me just wasn't like in it like at that time. So eventually I was maybe like 30% through the game. I eventually did the auto pop. I really regret doing that, because I think if I just wasn't in my like head around the time when it came to YouTube and content, I could have had a blast getting the platinum for this one again. So Unfortunate there, but doesn't diminish the fact that Spider-Man is an amazing video game with an amazing trophy list. And then following that up, we have Spider-Man Miles Morales. Fun story with this one. Since it was a day one launch title for the PS5, I remember I wasn't getting a PS5, so I pre-ordered the PS4 version. But the PS4 version at my local GameStop didn't show up the day it was supposed to come out, and I was very upset. I was very frustrated, and so it didn't come until like a day later. But still, I had a fun time with Miles Morales. For a while, I thought this was better than Spider-Man 2018. I don't know if I still feel that way nowadays. I definitely would have to revisit both of these and play them back to back to see. I just like the shorter story, of the focus on Miles and just his small little circle of Harlem. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I had a fun time with this one. I did not get the platinum at the time. I did complete pretty much everything I could, but I knew after I played this, after maybe like a week or so of the PS5 being out, I knew I wanted to get one pretty soon. So I just held off on getting the platinum, because then I'm like, I can get, once I get the PS5 version of this, I'll just do another, because one of the trophies is for New Game Plus. And so I'm like, I don't want to do that right now. So I'll wait till I get a PS5, do New Game Plus there. And then, yeah, we're set. So that's what I did. But yeah, Miles Morales, I really enjoy this game a lot. I really do. See, last game that starts with S, actually, I'm tripping, dude. This is we still have a couple more. Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Got this a little after Crash Bandicoot. I don't think these came out around the same time, but I got it sometime after. And I'm not super familiar with the Spyro franchise. I played a little bit, like Crash Bandicoot, I played a little bit of Spyro 1, because there's a lot of game in this game. There's 3 games to play through. I'll show the back of the box just so you can see. You got Spyro 1, Spyro 2, Spyro 3. 3 games and over 100 levels to explore. And so this one is a very casual, very chill game to play through compared to Crash Bandicoot. I did have fun, going through some levels, getting everything I can, collecting. It's a collectathon at heart. And so really fun doing that. And to be honest, I really do want to play this. I don't want to say over Crash Bandicoot, but I definitely think it's just going to be more of a chill game to play. If anything, if I were to go and play through the Crash games, this would be a nice palate cleanser, because I feel like this is just a very, just very fun, very simple game to play through. Now we get to our Star Wars games. Not too many on the PS4 generation. There's one I don't have with me, but I do have on PS5, so we'll get to that in the PS5 video. But the first one to come out during PS4 generation is Star Wars Battlefront 2015. I like this game a lot. I feel like it's a hot take to say the modern Battlefront games are better than the classics, but I love this game. So funny story with this one, I could not play the big tentpole Galactic Assault mode for the longest time. I do not know why. I noticed that was an issue for a while on PS4. Xbox One, completely fine. I remember the beta came out. I tried to play it on my PS4, couldn't play that mode. Could play it just fine on my dad's Xbox. But yeah, for a while, I couldn't play the Galactic Assault mode, which really hindered my experience there. And so I really just had to play the other modes. It would work occasionally, but not often. So I was always playing the other modes, which was kind of annoying. And then, so it wasn't until I got the platinum for this in 2017 where I really started to enjoy it a lot, because I got it for when it first came out, played it for a few months, traded it in, got it again maybe a few months later, traded in it. No, I held on to it ever since. But actually I don't think so, because I got the game. So got it first from GameStop, traded it in, got it from Amazon. I'm pretty sure I sold that one, and then got it again from GameStop when it was on sale. But this game's always on sale on digital for $5, which is really nice. But yeah, so this also would be a hot take. I like the gameplay loop of this one better than Battlefront 2 that came out a couple years after this one. I don't know. I think it's more of an arcadey feel to it. And I just like that a lot. The one thing I will not defend though are the power up you find like the tokens around the map to get heroes and vehicles and power-ups. I will defend that. I do think that was a little too arcadey, but the whole, like, the game feel, I still love. Like, in my mind, if they just put the gameplay into Battlefront 2, which had more content, I would have ate up Battlefront 2. I already did, but I would have ate it up even more if it was just pretty much the same as this, which is more content. But even still, I enjoy Battlefront. I remember there was some controversy as well with this one because there was a a season pass that was also $60. So you're pretty much paying $120 to get the complete game. I was a dumbass, and I never thought to buy the season pass if it ever went on sale. I bought each of the DLCs a la carte, which were like $15 by itself. And so there were 4. There was the Outer Rim DLC, there was Bespin, there was the Death Star, and Rogue One. Out of all 4 of those, Bespin was when I was really getting back into the game. Because yeah, Outer Rim stuff was alright. Death Star, I did play quite a bit, and then Rogue One as well. I also played a little bit of that. But Bespin was what really got me back into the game. That's probably like the best DLC they had. I know the Death Star, they had the trench run was also really cool. But yeah, Bespin, that was it. That really solidified the game for me. And then a year after that, I got the Platinum, which was not difficult, but it was a little challenging because, again, you're playing this like 2 years after the game came out. So the player base, especially for some of the small, like the other game modes, like for Team Deathmatch and like some other things that I needed the Platinum for, weren't as alive as Galactic Assault, of course, but it was still fun to play through, and it was really fun to get the Platinum for this one. So there's Battlefront, and then there's also Battlefront 2. So another interesting story with this one. This, I remember, so for Battlefront as well, there was a special PS4 edition for it, but this one I remember had a PS4 Pro edition. That's what I eventually got. And so I remember for a while my parents would give me and my sister Christmas money instead of like asking what we want for Christmas. So now we would just go and buy the stuff ourselves. And so we got it pretty early that year, and I'm like, I could use this on whatever I want, right? Like, yeah. So I'm like, so I can theoretically go and get the PS4 Pros and be it PS4 Pro version of this if I wanted to. They're like, if that's how you want to spend your money, that's what I did. That night, it was literally the night before Battlefront 2 came out, which thinking back is kind of wild. But yeah, the night before Battlefront 2 came out, I went and I traded in my PS4, pre-ordered the PS4 Pro version of Battlefront 2, which came with the PS4 like Pro like special edition Battlefront 2 stuff on it, came with a controller, and it came with the game, obviously. So that was how I got my PS4 Pro. That's how I got Battlefront 2. But I was not the biggest fan of Battlefront 2 when it first came out. I played the beta, like many people. That's when many people discovered the whole pay-to-win situation. And then I remember, you know, they posted something on Reddit, which is, I think, still the most downvoted thing in Reddit history. And then I played it, and I'm just like, I'm not vibing with this one like I used to. Yes, it is so nice to be able to play as like prequel, like all the eras. So you got prequels, you got sequels, you got the original. And then this also came out like a couple months before, well, actually a month before The Last Jedi, so you eventually got content for that. And, you know, it just, for a while, it just wasn't really vibing with me, so I traded it in eventually. But what brought me back is all the changes that they were doing to make it better. And so the Geonosis update, because there was no DLC, you didn't have to pay for anything. Everything they dropped was free. And so the Geonosis DLC was what really got me back into it. That's what really got, like, I got it again. I played through the Geonosis stuff and eventually played the other stuff. And then I got the Platinum because I eventually got the Platinum for this, which was very tedious because the amount of XP you get at the end of a game, nothing, bro. I literally had to rely on like the triple XP weekends and stuff to build on my levels, and because you have to get to level 50 for one of the trophies. That was the last trophy I got, and so before the Platinum, and so that's what I had to do. There are some annoying ones as well. I talked about this in my trophy video, but there was like one hero versus villains trophy that was annoying. Some of the spaceship trophies were also pretty annoying to get too, but I eventually got it done. Eventually got the Platinum. Definitely one of my more prouder Platinum. This in the original Battlefront. Definitely some of my prouder Platinums to date for sure. And Yeah, I still played this on occasion. Like once the Rise of Skywalker was coming out, that was pretty much like when they dropped the Ultimate Edition, and I mean, I was still playing it pretty heavy for a while. I stopped after a minute, but still, I mean, EA turned it around. I'll give it to them. EA, Dice, Motive, Criterion, they turned this game around and made it like the ultimate Battlefront experience. It just sucks that they stopped doing updates for it a few years ago, because there's so much content they still could have added to this. I mean, especially now with like Andor, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, just a bunch of like Clone Wars stuff. Even like there's so much. This could have been the ultimate Battlefront game if they just kept going. But it is what it is. I won't. I mean, I had my time with it. I had my fun with it. I was able to get my PS4 Pro, which I still have. My sister actually has it, but yeah, that's Battlefront 2. And then the last Star Wars game I have physically on PS4, Star Wars Squadrons. A very interesting Star Wars game. Funny enough, this was my first like Let's Play game when I was getting into YouTube and stuff. It took me like 2 weeks to actually get like a proper setup. But yeah, Star Wars Squadrons was a fun time. Played through the story, obviously finished that. Played through some of the multiplayer stuff. I would like to get the platinum for this because I think this is the only EA Star Wars game, or really like the only modern Star Wars game I don't have the platinum for. It's really because of the multiplayer. That's like the one thing that's holding me back. There's a bunch of multiplayer trophies. I don't even know how well the servers are nowadays, as this is like a 5-year-old game now. But yeah, I remember being super hyped for it. The trailers and stuff for it were really cool, especially that first trailer. I really liked the first trailer. And yeah, dude, Star Wars Squadrons is a fun game. I remember VR. I messed around with that for a little bit. That was pretty fun to do. You know, being able to fly in the cockpit of a X-Wing or a TIE Fighter in VR. Like, come on, that's a dream come true right there. And then the last Borderlands game, well, actually not, but going back to Borderlands, I guess. I didn't even know I had this physical either, but Tales of the Borderlands, a lot of people claim this to be the best Telltale game. It's been a while since I played it, so I can't quite remember and comment on that. But it is, from what I like recall, it is a pretty good Telltale game. You know, the way it integrated into the Borderlands universe. Like, I remember Zero popped up in one of the missions. I mean, Handsome Jack has gone on to be a character in other Borderlands games, which I think says a lot. And so, yeah, I don't want to spend too much time here because I would just kind of be rambling about nothing. But I definitely need to replay this and see how well it holds up. And then finally, our final Borderlands game is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Again, this was a PS5. I think you could do a free upgrade for PS5. It doesn't have it on the box, but there is a PS5 version. I just want PS4 because it was cheaper. Still in the shrink wrap because I just haven't touched it, but I definitely want to soon. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people really hold this one in high regard. It is a spin-off of the Borderlands games. It just has like a fantasy twist to it, which because like in the game there's like a what's it, Bunkers and Badasses. That's the like Dungeons and Dragons equivalent in the Borderlands universe. So this is basically just what it's based on. And yeah, just I've seen some interesting gameplay. I mean, I feel like it's just more Borderlands just in a fantasy setting. So definitely gonna play the PS5 version of that instead. Next up, we get into Tomb Raider. I think I played this on PS3. I remember when this came out, my dad was going to get it on his Xbox, and he was going to get me something else. But after a while, I'm like, no, I think I want Tomb Raider 2. I don't know why I did that, because he had it on Xbox. But I eventually got Tomb Raider. This was not my introduction to Tomb Raider, but my most extensive like version of Tomb Raider. Like, there's 3 different eras people talk about with Tomb Raider. There's always the original one that came out for like the PS1 era, and then there's the ones that came out like late PS2, early 360 era, and then there's this one, I think the Survivor trilogy. And this is just the one I've known. I've technically kind of grew up on this, so that's, I guess, my Tomb Raider. The first one, I actually like really enjoy the first Tomb Raider game. I still remember it quite a bit. I played it not too long ago actually, because I wanted to this was back when they released a remaster of the first 3 Tomb Raider games. And so I was like, I'm going to do like all the Tomb Raider games. I get the platinum for all those. And so this one was This had multiplayer trophies in it. This is the only one that had multiplayer trophies in it. So I boosted some of the trophies one weekend with a few guys I just found online on PS1 profiles, and just need to go back and because I finished the story. I finished it twice, once on PS3 and then on PS4. So I just need to go back and just clean up some trophies, take care of that. Same with really all the main, like the trilogy version of Tomb Raider. Because then we also get into Rise of the Tomb Raider, which comes in those fancy little book, because as I think all you would know, this was an exclusive on the Xbox One for like a year, and then they made a big deal about it when it came to PS4 because it was the 20th anniversary. So I got this version for PS4. Comes with this little book, you know, you got some art for the game, and then of course you got the game itself. This one I really enjoyed this one. I think out of the trilogy, the Survivor trilogy, a lot of people would say the same. I think this is like the best out of the three. I don't remember a lot story-wise about this, but I do remember like you're in like the snowy like forest, and you know, you're just trying to survive pretty much. And so yeah, again, I finished the story for this one. This is one of those PS4 Pro games I remember being shown off a lot, and I played it on PS4 Pro. And yeah, I would definitely like to go back whenever I do all the Tomb Raider games and just play through that. And then the last one is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I don't think a lot of people hold this one in high regard out of like the whole trilogy. It's still a pretty good game, but yeah, I think when you just look at all three of them, this is probably the weakest in a lot of people's eyes. Again, I played this maybe a couple years after I finished Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I don't remember, like, my 2019 is like a bit of a blurry, like a blind spot for me gaming wise. I don't remember a lot of what was going on in 2019, and this is unfortunately like one of the games I played in that year. I just have no recollection of it. I remember some things, like some of the set pieces were cool. There's a cool little open world section in like a village, but that's about it. Yeah, there's really not much I can comment there, but of course, whenever I get around to playing the Tomb Raider games, this is probably the last one, but when I would be itching to replay, just because again, I don't remember too much about it. And while I'm on the topic of Tomb Raider, I actually got this today, like a couple hours ago, but because I got it on Amazon. But I got Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6 remastered. I also have 1, 2, and 3 remastered that I'm going to talk about in the digital section. And now the thing is, there is a PS5 version of this one and 1 through 3 remastered. But the reason I went with the PS4 versions is because, fortunately for this one, this does have a platinum on the PlayStation 5, but it only has 1 platinum, as opposed to PS4, and get platinum for each of the games. Whereas 1 through 3 remastered, I can't even get the platinum on the PS5 version because there's so many trophies. I don't really know what the thing is there, but yeah, that's why I opted in for the PS4 versions of these. I don't really think there's a major difference graphics wise, because I mean, it's just remastering games that came out like back on PS1 pretty much. So yeah, the only one I know from this one that's interesting is 4, because that's Angel of Darkness, which I think at the time was like regarded as like the worst Tomb Raider game pretty much. So it's gonna be interesting like visiting that one and see how it holds up. While I'm on the topic though, this is another PS4 game I got today, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. This is volume 1. It was like maybe $20 on Amazon, $17 or $20. And so the main reason I picked this one up, because this is like the cheapest way that you can play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because you can't really find that junk anywhere. So that's really the main reason I got it. Of course, there's like a bunch of classics in here, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like the tentpole game that I would like to play. Because I remember my dad got it for the 360, because I remember it was like one of those Xbox Live arcade games that they dropped. And yeah, that's just my knowledge of it. But yeah, it's just really expensive to get nowadays on like the PS2 and stuff. All right, moving on, we have my only Transformers game for the PS4 generation, Transformers Devastation. I remember, so this was back in like 2016. This came out before then, but you know, going over the games I had for Christmas that year, some of them I just wasn't vibing with. So I traded them in, and I saw this, and I heard some good things about it. And so I got it, and this is actually a really fun game. Like, Platinum made this game, so the combat, you know, is gonna be tight, it's gonna be clean, but also throwing in like the Transformers skin on top of that was pretty cool. This is based on the Gen 1 Transformers, as you can tell. And so like I said in the last video when I was talking about the Cybertron games, I like the Gen 1 Transformers stuff a lot more than I think the Michael Bay stuff, which is probably gonna be weird to say for someone my age. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this stuff a lot more. I like the combat. I love the soundtrack in this. I remember this is probably the first time like video game music really stuck out to me. Like I had one of the songs stuck in my head for a long time. And so yeah, Transformers Devastation. I would like to get, unfortunately you can't get it digitally anymore just because licensing and all that, but platinum wise I do want to get the platinum. I don't think there's a lot of trophies in this, but it's going to be a fairly difficult platinum from what I remember seeing online, so there is that. All right, getting into the U's, there's only like a few games here. Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. So like I mentioned in my last video, I really got into Uncharted like late into the generation after Uncharted 3 came out. And so I played through all three of them back to back on PS3, but Drake's Fortune is the only one I have on PS3 because that's the only one I can get the platinum for. But yeah, 2 and 3, well, all three of them I remember getting, it was Christmas of, I think it was Christmas 2015. It was a few months before Uncharted 4 came out. And so, you know, got it, played them all back to back pretty much up until Uncharted, like the day before Uncharted 4 came out. And I mean, there's like, I guess I didn't talk too much about Uncharted 2 and 3, but a lot of people hold Uncharted 2 as like the best out of them. I don't know. I'm more of a 4 person. I really like Uncharted 4, but yeah, Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, they're all really good in their own regards. I think the thing with Uncharted 2 is just because it followed up on Drake's Fortune so well, and it just like enhanced pretty much everything from that game. You have a lot more set pieces, much better set pieces, a lot more gameplay variety. Like there's a lot to really ooze about when it comes to Uncharted 2. Uncharted 3 as well. Like Uncharted 3 got really good critical reviews at the time. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it in high regard as much as Uncharted 2, but Uncharted 2 and 3, all three of them are fantastic games. But yeah, I definitely think out of the three, I can make the argument for Uncharted 2 being the best of them. And so that's the Nathan Drake collection. But for me, for my money, Uncharted 4, in my opinion, is the best one. As you can see, I got that nice steelbook. I'm pretty sure this is like the first steelbook for a game I've ever gotten. But yeah, I got the steelbook. I remember I pre-ordered the probably the deluxe edition, which was like $70. But because of this, I was able to get the next one that has Chloe for free, which I'll talk about when I come to the digital side of things. But yeah, Uncharted 4, like one of my favorite PS4 games, one of my favorite games from 2016. 2016, when you look back at it too, is another stacked year. But yeah, Uncharted 4, a real showcase for what the PS4 was capable of, both from like story standpoint, because I feel like this was after Last of Us The Last of Us 1, right? And so it's just like I think they were able to take some cues from Last of Us 1, both from like a story and gameplay standpoint. But yeah, gameplay was really good. This is definitely one of the best looking PS4 games. I played this back, last time I played this, it was before I graduated high school, which was back in like 2019. Played the story and it still held up like really well. It's only been like 3 years, but still, I feel like I play it now. I know there's like the PS5 version, but I'd still like probably play the PS4 version and it would still hold up incredibly well. So Uncharted 4, I freaking love this game. I love this game just like Last of Us, man. This is such a great game. Next we get into a game that got me out of my comfort zone a little bit, which is Until Dawn. Like I mentioned in this video, in multiple videos, I'm not like a huge horror game person, right? I think the main reason I got this was because of the cast. Like there's just a few on the back of the box, but you got Hayden Panettiere, you got Rami Malek. Those were just like a couple of people that like I had seen before. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to step up my comfort zone for a little bit. It was pretty cheap when I got it. It was already on sale. I got it on Amazon. And so I played it over that summer, like 2016, and I fell in love with it ever since. I was able to go back and get the platinum for it back last year, actually. And so I know they have the remake for this. it would have to go on a really good sale for me to consider getting it again. Because yeah, this still holds up really well, especially on PS5, because you can just play, like, it plays at 60 frames per second on PS5, which is like, bro, like, come on. I didn't even know that until I started playing it. And so, yeah, Uncharted Until Dawn, it's like, really got, like, I applaud it for really getting me out of my comfort zone, because I still don't play too many horror games today, but this is definitely like one of the better ones that I have played easily. All right, and now we get to wind things down with the W's. This is the last set of games that we have here. First is going to be Watch Dogs 2. I did have Watch Dogs, the first one, physical for a while, but I got it digital now, so we just go on to Watch Dogs 2. The case is actually, I got this from GameStop. Case here is like busted up, but yeah, Watch Dogs 2, I think Watch Dogs 2 in my opinion is like the best out of the Watch Dogs trilogy, pretty much. I enjoyed playing as Marcus. I enjoyed exploring San Francisco. I enjoyed the gameplay variety in this one too, right? Because if you played it, Marcus and his group of people aren't really like murderers in a sense, like Aiden was in the first Watch Dogs. And so if you want to, you can still go in guns blazing and stuff, but it was actually kind of cool being able to like hack my way through some things every now and then and like try to complete some missions without killing anyone. I thought there's just more variety when it came to the hacking. And so I thought that was really cool. Again, it's just, yeah, exploring San Francisco, playing as Marcus, seeing his story, you know, really fun time. Really enjoyed this one. Legion got on PS4. Does have a PS5 upgrade. I originally played this on a PC. Again, when I got my PC, I got Ubisoft Plus. This is like the only Ubisoft Plus game I actually finished. Because I was doing Let's Plays, but I don't even think I ever finished the Let's Play series, but I did finish the game. And I think the concept for this one is interesting, where like all the characters are playable. I just don't know how much like the execution really paid off in the long run, because you don't really hear a lot of people talk about this one when it comes to Watch Dogs. It's really just like Watch Dogs 2, maybe Watch Dogs 1. I've actually seen a lot of people talk about more these days. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it when I played it at the time. But yeah, I definitely would like to go and get the trophies and stuff for the PS4 version. So next we get to Wolfenstein: The New Order, a very pivotal game for me when it comes to the PS4 generation, because this is really one of the first games where I got into like doing everything in a game. You know, this was, I wasn't working, I didn't really have money like that, so I wasn't getting games out the wazoo like I was really during the PS3, and then later on when I would get a job. And so PS4, some of those early PS4 games, I had to make, like, once I got it, I tried to do as much as I can to get as much, like, out of it, pretty much. That's the first time I really started doing this, and Wolfenstein is the first game where I really, like, took advantage of that. Like, there was also like Lego Marvel and Amazing Spider-Man 2, but yeah, Wolfenstein is the one game where I was like, I just want to do everything I can. Not necessarily get the trophies, because again, that wasn't really on my radar at the time. I noticed there was like collectibles and stuff in the game and other stuff, and I'm like, I kind of want to just go out my way and just get all that stuff. So that's what I did. First game I did, Wolfenstein: The New Order is just like a fun game, you know. Of course, there were more Wolfenstein games before this. Like, Wolfenstein goes way back, same time as like Doom, whenever those were dropping on PC and whatnot. And then there was one that came out on PS3, like for Return to Wolfenstein, I think. But yeah, again, just because there weren't a lot of games, like this was 2014. 2014 was like a weird year for gaming in general, and so there weren't a lot of well, let's just say most PS4 games that came out in 2014, if I go watch a review for it most likely got on my radar. This was one of those games. I saw it was really good, so I got it one day and completely changed like I would say this really did change my view on just gaming, like doing as much as I can in the game, and also just getting games I normally just would not get, you know? And so, yeah, Wolfenstein is a fun game. A really cool story. I think a lot of people don't like downplay the story just because it's a first person shooter. And it's like, if I'm playing this, I want to shoot things. But I mean, the story in this is also really good. Like the story of BJ Blazkowicz, like they really humanize him in this game pretty much. And then like, it's just, I enjoy this game. I enjoy it a lot. So that we got that. And also, the new Colossus. I do think the Old Blood like expansion, I think they did drop physical, but I opted in for digital for that one. Don't really mind that. But yeah, Wolfenstein 2 follow up to the New Order dropped like 3 years after that one. Of course, you know, I enjoyed this one too. Don't remember like story wise, I don't remember too much about this one. I do remember like the gameplay was a major improvement over Wolfenstein, the New Order. And I mean, it's just different. I mean, just, you know, the aftermath of the first game, Nazis are still in control. You're just trying to liberate America. I remember some controversy with this one because this is during like, you know, we're getting politics roped into this. I don't really want to make a big fuss out of that. But I remember like that was a thing that kind of was tossed in with this game. But yeah, the main reason, like trophy wise, you see a lot of like people talk about this because there's that trophy where you have to get through the game without dying, because if you do, you lose all your progress. And so I'm definitely up for that challenge. I started this back up like spring break this year, back in April, just to mess around a little bit. I didn't get super, I only played like the first level or so. But yeah, definitely, this is the next game in the Wolfenstein franchise I need to get to. And so we're going to get to it at some point. I just know it's going to be a hefty investment to get the platinum for that. And that is my physical PS4 collection. Quite a few games here. I'm talking about it like a little longer than my PS3 collection, but we're not even done because there's still the digital side of things. And so I was going to include it in this video, but I also have quite a few digital PS4 games as well. So I'm going to save that for another video. For now, we're just going to like, this is just going to be the physical PS4 games, and then next video going to be digital. Shouldn't be as long, but I say that I yapped for like 4 hours in this one, so who knows. But yeah, that is my physical PS4 collection. Again, PS4 holds a special place for me. Like, I love PS4, I love those games, and I'm excited to continue talking about it when we get to the digital stuff. But for now, that's the physical collection. I'm gonna end it there. And if you've been watching this long, because this is a long video, I really appreciate you guys. I really do. So thank you.